It is a very good afternoon and welcome to Bankwest Stadium for the New South Wales Men's Premier League Under-18's Grand Final. Nicholas Kutniak alongside Tony Tanous for what should be a cracking game between Blacktown City and the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Both sides, of course, have been the best in the competition. Blacktown first on 59 points, while the Mount Druitt Town Rangers second with 47 points. And Tony Tanous, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, it should be an absolute beauty, this one. There's been very little separating these two sides when they have met this season, and it's going to be an absolute classic, I think. Let's go through the lineup, starting off with Blacktown City. Yeah, John Carnival names the following side in goals. It's Zane Cunico, a back four of Ryan Duffy, Ben Berry, Blake Richards, and Tyrene Burney. The holding midfielders are Bradley Tapp and Caleb Jackson Brown. And the front four on the right, Thomas Bainash. The number 10, Ryan Attard. On the left, Kai McLaughlin. And up front, in the number 9 role, Connor Rose. The bench for Blacktown City, Tristan Vidakovic, Corey Smith, Christian Chirino, and Cameron Veldhuizen, as well as Sebastian Hernandez. And as for Mount Druitt Town Rangers, Joe D'Amelio names the following 11. In goals, Brendan Allen, a back four of Cooper Halfpenny, Blake Illich, the captain, Nathan Grimaldi, Caleb Richards. The holding midfielders are Dimash Vlahos and Caleb Garrett. And then it's a front four of Riley Howarth, Elijah Ulesi, Yinka Sunmola, and Reese Osmond. And the bench for Mount Druitt Town Rangers, Jerome Narayan, Daniel Goni, Anthony Idahan, Nonso Chakwaeke, and Dilang Pelchol. Here at Bankwest Stadium, Grand Final Day 2019. 3 games, of course, for service today. This is the first one, the Under-18s. Looking forward to it, the Mount Druitt Town Rangers up against Blacktown City. Then, of course, you'll see at 2:30, Blacktown City against the Sutherland Sharks. And then at 6 p.m, the big one between Apia Leichhardt and Sydney United 58. Of course, it's interesting to note when you look at this game, Tony, and the fact that, 11 on shot for Blacktown City, which is great, but the funny stat is, in 90 minutes or regulation time, they haven't defeated the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. A couple of weeks ago, they played in that final, and it went, of course, to penalty shootouts. It's a weird stat when you look at it. Yeah, look, Blacktown have beaten everyone. They're 22 games undefeated, but this is the one side that they've not been able to beat in normal time. So they did rely on penalties in the finals to beat them, and they weren't able to beat them during the regular season. So sets up a fascinating grand final. Well, indeed, we're set to go for this one. Joel Crawford, the referee, and we're underway. Blacktown City defending the left of screen, the northern end of the ground. Of course, Mount Druitt Town on the right of screen defending the southern enders. The ball is with Richards, and Richards plays it across the face again. Harry Carey with Berry, and at the end, Berry will be able to look to play it back inside, though he decides to beat the defence. Good stuff there to beat the defence of Ulesi as he plays up the line. And now Mount Druitt Town stop it. Grimaldi, a big game we're expecting from him today. And this Mount Druitt Town side, a lot has been made about their season this year. It's been a great year, of course, promoted to the first. And it's been great to watch Mount Druitt develop as a team throughout the year. Yeah, I think what's impressed me with these under-18s in particular is the way that they've improved defensively. They were leaking goals, particularly in the early part of the season. But I think defensively they've just got better in the second half of the season, and that sort of gives them a lot of confidence heading into this grand final. They only kept 1 clean sheet in the first half of the year, and they've been able to keep 8 clean sheets in the second half of the year. So I think that gives them a bit more confidence, and it's going to be a good battle, this one. Ball goes towards here. Jackson Brown works it to the right side where Berry's there. Tries to force it up the line, but goes out for a throw on this near side, the western side of Bankwest Stadium. It's great to be here for Grand Final Day. Of course, the ground opened up earlier this year. As possession goes through Grimaldi, and he works it to the right-hand side. The Mount Druitt Town Rangers with Grimaldi again on this left corridor. And now the ball has worked up the line, trying to find the target initially of Ulesi at the end. Drops down and possession via here. That man of Richards is now goes to Ulesi. Ulesi again, just cutting him to the centre of the field, working across to the right side. Again, worked up the line by Grimaldi, by Halfpenny, I should say. As now it's on this right side. Howarth again. He's beaten. Great defence there by the Blacktown City side. Expecting that throughout the afternoon as the foul's been called. So 2 minutes gone in this contest. No score between Blacktown City and Mount Druitt Town Rangers on the Football New South Wales Network Under-18's grand final day here at Bankwest.
Yeah, you could just see Blacktown City happy to sit back in the early going, and Mount Druitt are actually on the front foot, pressing high, and it's been a very interesting start. I think Mount Druitt certainly trying to ask a question early on, and Blacktown happy just to absorb in the early going.
Are you surprised about that as the ball's inside the 18-yard box, but Blacktown clear it away?
Yeah, no, I think certainly Blacktown fancy themselves as a transition side. It is really a big part of their game. Their front four have been their outlets this season, and particularly in transition. So watch them go forward quickly.
B. Nash with it, trying to beat the defence. Great stuff at the end, trying to work it into the middle. At the end, Blacktown City hold control. As the ball is worked across nicely there by Rose. In turn, it goes back towards Blake Richards, and he works it down to the left-hand side. Ball back into the centre towards Addard. He's beaten for pace. Good stuff by Mount Druitt Town. Howarth again working it up the line. At the end, the ball goes to the 18-yard box, saved by Kaneko. Is now is in possession via Tap. Bradley Tap working it to the left. He finds here Blake Richards. And again, it goes back to Tap.
I think this is the pattern we'll likely see, Nick. I think certainly Blacktown will likely dominate possession, and they're a good ball-playing side. You can see Mount Druitt have a bigger size comparison when you look at the two sides. You know, they're certainly a physically imposing side, Mount Druitt, very combative, very competitive, and Blacktown will look to go and use their speed, particularly in transition. That front four.
Very dangerous indeed as now possession here with Halfpenny working it up the line. And again, you see beaten for pace there, Mount Druitt Town, and Blacktown go down this left-hand channel, but it's played out nicely by Grimaldi.
You can see the speed there of the captain, McLaughlin, on that left-hand side of the attack, the number 11. He's certainly one to watch. He'll be part of the under-20 squad a little bit later on, at 2:30 kickoff for Blacktown versus the Sharks. Certainly one to watch in this 18's grand final.
Yeah, massive day, of course, here at Bankwest Stadium as the ball goes to halfway. And again, Berry works it to the right side where he finds here Duffy. Duffy turning into the middle again. Good pass out to the right there by Jackson Brown. And this is where we see Ben Ash trying to work it in, but it's played out by Mount Druitt Town. So the first corner of the game will be given. Yeah,
good work from Blacktown just to switch it out from the left-hand side. Ben Ash looks a very impressive player, getting on the ball on that right-hand side. One of only two additions to the Blacktown squad this season. It's a very familiar and stable squad that they've had at the club. And Benash is one of the new boys who's really added a lot.
So it will be McLaughlin to take the corner here. On this western side, works it in towards the 6-yard post, but misses everything. At the end, it goes towards here the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. They'll work it up the line. And this will be an Osmond. Again, expecting big things from Osmond today. Works the ball up the line here. Halfpenny's there. Halfpenny trying to beat the fence. It's played out the end nicely via Berry.
You can see there Mount Druitt wanting to go quickly in transition. Reece Osmond, the player, big target man up front, has been a prolific goal scorer this season in the under-18s competition. He scored the only goal that got them through to the grand final on Monday night against Sydney United. So, as you say, certainly one to watch today, the number 9 for Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
So no score in the grand final. 6 minutes gone here. Nicholas Kutniak alongside Tony Tanous on grand final day 2019. It's great to be with you on a sensational day. Of course, overcast conditions, but expecting not much rain around the Western Sydney area.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain the last 2 days, and considering that, the pitch has held up really well. It's quite dry. The drainage, obviously, a modern facility. It's so good to be here for the big grand final day.
Well, at Rosehill today, they're running at a heavy 9. I reckon this is probably a soft 7, to be honest. There's possession now in the middle, and it's worked to the right side. Halfpenny trying to play it up the line. At the end, it will be Richards who clears that away.
Yeah, and it's been both teams looking to have periods of attack. So Mount Druitt are not just sitting back, they're coming forward as well and looking to get their fullbacks going forward. It's been a remarkable season for Joe D'Amelia's side, coming up from NPL 2. They've done extremely well to make the finals in their first year in the top flight.
We've got viewers today from China as well as Uruguay. Great to see everybody on board to watch the action, and also a couple of comments saying go Connor Rose. So we'll be keeping an eye on him throughout the afternoon as Grimaldi has it. And again, the Mount Druitt Town Rangers trying to work the ball in their defensive half. Again, the ball goes to the left-hand side, where it is possession through Callum Richards. And Callum Richards again, turning it into the middle.
So both Mount Druitt Town Rangers playing with those two holding midfielders. So they play a 4-2-3-1 formation. Same story with Blacktown City.
Vahos working it back. Ball goes back to the left-hand side of Illich. And Illich now working it towards the western touch. Goes over the top there of Callum Richards. And it'll be a throw for Blacktown City. 7.5 gone. No score in the grand final. The under-18s. There's a throw taken quickly. It's headed down via Callum Richards. Ball played up the line there by Duffy. As the foul's been called. The Mount Druitt Town Rangers will be in good position here, Tony, and I've liked the way they've played so far. Very attacking, which is good in the grand final to set the platform. Yeah, they're certainly on the front foot. We talk about their size differential over Blacktown, and this is the opportunity here to highlight that at the set piece. So it's going to be taken at the end by Richards, works it towards the 6-yard box at the end. It's played away there by Blacktown, but still possession here on the left-hand side for the Rangers. Work back in by Richards. Header over the bar. Well, that was an effort gone pegging, but what about the save there by Kunike? Just pushed it over, but it was a great shot there by Ulisi on that occasion. Yeah, what a delivery from the left-hand side. An outstanding save from Zane Kunike to deny Ulisi here. A terrific set piece, and we talk about that aerial threat of Mount Druitt Town Rangers, and it's on display right there. So the Rangers looking for the first goal of the game. No score after 8 minutes 46. As now it's a low corner, head of the way. Ball bounces down. Richard trying to control at the end. Grimaldi did his best. Having an air swing initially there was Howarth. As the ball goes back, the shot from distance at the end. Halfpenny can't do much with it. Goes over the bar, and the score remains 0-0. Yeah, I think Joe D'Amelio will be very pleased with the start from Mount Druitt Town Rangers. They're certainly on the front foot and posing those threats in those key set-piece moments. That's a good survival there for Blacktown City. They get away with that one, and they can look to build. It's been a remarkable story. They've only conceded 19 goals, Blacktown City, this year. 9 of those have come in the 3 games against Mount Druitt Town Rangers. So you take those out of the equation, they've only conceded 10 goals in the other games. So it's quite a remarkable story, this battle between these two neighbours. It's a local derby. And we just got a sniff there of the striker, the quick man up front in Connor Rose. We appreciate the comments throughout the afternoon, of course. Teams, or the fans saying, go Mount Druitt Town or go Blacktown, which is great. And a couple of Connor Rose supporters. There's about 3 of them already on the Facebook page, which is great as it's headed down by Mount Druitt. Again, ahead of there via Jackson Brown. Expecting big things from Jackson Brown today as the ball has worked up the line. Possession now for Osmond. Osmond now wants to work it down this right channel. At the end, it's played out. Good defensive read there by Bernie on that occasion. Yeah, the 2 players you just mentioned there, Connor Rose and Caleb Jackson Brown, both Australian schoolboys, so they've got great reputations, and they've been in the mix as far as the Joeys are concerned. They missed out on the final squad, but certainly have been in the mix for the youth teams of the Australian, Trevor Morgan's Joeys. Exactly right there, Tony. So 10 minutes 35 gone in the under-18s grand final. As Blacktown let the ball sit past the goal line, it will be a goal kick. So, as you can hear in the background, it's a great atmosphere today so far at Bankwest Stadium in Sydney's West. There's now possession here on the left-hand side for Blacktown. The ball worked back to Kuniko. Kuniko now looking to work it down the left channel. At the end, it goes down the line. Turning around there is in McLaughlin. McLaughlin trying to work it up the line, but it goes out for a throw on the far side. As now, again, Blacktown looking to work it again to the left corridor. Score remains here in the grand final, 0-0. As now Blacktown trying to work it to the right, but shut down quickly. This is the speed that Mount Druitt Town have got. And again, this is Richards. He's made a good start. Callum Richards coming forward down the left-hand side. Vahos working it to the right. And again, it's Halfpenny. Vahos again. Chipping it back. Grimaldi in his own half. Into the middle. And again, Blacktown have to watch this Mount Druitt side who are setting up for something at the end. Goes back towards Duffy. They were trying to find the target initially there of Samola, but couldn't find him, Mount Druitt. He's going to be a key player to look at as well
Yeah, one of the real starlets in this competition, Yinka Sunmola. He's already had a taste of the first team for Mount Druitt Town Rangers this year. I called a Waratah Cup semi-final at Valentine Sports Park, and he came off the bench against Manly United. So he's already had a taste of first team action. The number 7 on the left-hand side for Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
So now down this right channel, it's Adard working it towards the 18-yard box. It's headed away, but still a chance for Blacktown, but the save has been made easily at the end. Now Ryan on that occasion making the save, or I should say an Allen making the save. So score in the grand final is 0-0.
Yeah, good moment there for the skipper. Kai McLaughlin getting his first attempt for Blacktown City. Got it on target. He's a big unit though, the keeper, Brendan Allen, and he gobbled that one up quite comfortably. It's great to see the crowd building up here already. It's going to be a great occasion. We're hearing massive contingent of active support, particularly for Sydney United later on in the day. Come out here if you can. I think it's going to be a great occasion if you are watching on the live stream. The conditions have cleared. It's a beautiful day here in Western Sydney, and isn't it great to be back at the spiritual home of football grand finals in Australian football, Parramatta, Bankwest Stadium. Such a history and tradition here. Beautiful occasion. So
many great moments, of course, and we'll talk about it throughout the day as it's Grimaldi now who has possession here, turning the ball into the middle and again possession via Garrett. Garrett works it across to the right side to the captain. And now it's switched across to the left. And at the end, Blacktown just headed the ball forward. So no score in the grand final. Heading towards 14 minutes in this contest. Again, we see Richards working it down the line. Trying to hold on Ulysses at the end. It's played out by Blacktown. Will be a throw on this side of the ground for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
And it's terrific to see Callum Garrett in that centre of midfield as the ball goes forward for Osmond.
And again, we see the Rangers just outside the box, but Blacktown clear it away. Good clearance via Smith as it drops down. And at the end, trying to hold control there was Adard. Adard wins the foul for his side. We're getting comments coming through, Tony, which is great. Viewers from Italy and Japan as well, which is great. And also appreciating the commentary, which is great, as we see Blacktown with the ball on the right-hand side.
Yeah, Adard's a key player for them, the number 6. He's on the ball there. He plays in that attacking central midfield role, the number 10 role, and trying to get between the lines of these Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
At the end, too much petroleum on that ball, and it goes out for a throw on this side of the ground. But you can see the idea that's coming for this Mount Druitt side. They're peppering down the left channel, and it's supposedly working dividends at the moment here, Tony, as the ball goes inside the 18-yard box. At the end, regulation save for Kuniko. So, a good crowd out here at Bankwest Stadium, grand final day in 2019. Nicholas Kutniak alongside Tony Tanous. As again, the ball goes down the line. It's played out by Illich. That occasion, Rose just couldn't hold possession, which is good for this Blacktown side, winning the throw as the throw is taken.
Mount Druitt certainly be pleased they haven't allowed Blacktown to get in behind so far. Talk about that key transition game for Blacktown. They've been scoring goals for fun, 64 in the regular season. Quite the record. Best attack by 10 goals, in fact. Mount Druitt Town Rangers, 54 goals for the season. And Blacktown have the best defence by some way. They've only conceded 16 in the regular season. The next best was Sydney United with 32. So they certainly come in as favourites, but this tight contest between the two sides, and I think we've seen that on display in the early going, Nicholas.
Well, both sides have won a game each and a draw during the season. That's the situation, of course. Mount Druitt did win the first game of the season. The scoreline was, on that occasion, 4-3, which is a great win for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers to start the year. And it's quite fitting that the first game of the year will be the last game of the year for these two sides.
Yeah, quite a great story. The two probably nearest rivals in terms of the NPL 1 competition, and they meet here at Parramatta Stadium, which is really a stone's throw from both their home grounds. So it's a Western Sydney derby of sorts.
Exactly right. As the ball drops back and it's played out nicely via Berry, it'll be a throw for Mount Druitt Town on this broadcast side to be taken via that man and Callum Richards. Yeah, it's
those games that you mentioned, they've been very tight. All those games, late goals deciding them.
Valhos goes low at the end of regulation, saved by Kuniko. But again, you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to pepper that ball forward. And again, an easy save.
Yeah, he's an imposing figure in that centre midfield. I'll talk about Adard for Blacktown City, but that direct opponent in Dimos Vlahos. That's going to be a great battle. So Attart's trying to get the goal side of him, and Vlahos such an imposing figure, but you can see there he likes to try his luck from range as well.
So it will be a Mount Druitt Town ball. No score in the grand final, 17 and a half gone. What has been a sensational start. It's been a good game as Richards throws it in. Headed down nicely at the end via Berry. And again, Blacktown trying to go upstream as the ball is played out. Too much on that touch that just didn't quite work for Blacktown as the throw taken quickly by Richards. And again, we see Osborne controlling it. Osborne trying to turn on the inside. At the end, works into the middle. Vahos at the end, clearance was good. And that's what Blacktown have been doing well so far as again Grimaldi has it and works it to the left. Richards, back to Grimaldi. Works it across the face to Idic. Now plays it to Vahos again. Vahos working it to the right side. Halfpenny up the line at the end. Target they couldn't find. And will be Blacktown with the ball though. Calling for the foul. Wasn't coming. You can hear the Mount Druitt Town supporters. Actually a good contingent of Mount Druitt Town Rangers supporters over on the eastern side of the ground, Tony, which is great to see.
Yeah, the crowd's coming through. It's fantastic to hear. And as I said, it's building up, and it's going to build up right throughout the day for that 6 p.m. first grade kickoff. It's going to be some afternoon. On the Mount Druitt Town Rangers side, we talk about their spirit as we see a player go down, but the spirit that they have shown, Nicholas, throughout the season, that's been really evident in the last month. They've had some key players out. I talk about a couple of key players. Their number 10, who was really their main playmaker, Jesse Hirschwitz. He's the go-to. He's been the player right throughout the season, and they've been without him now for the last month. They've also had Daniel Goney, who's on the bench today. He got sent off in the last round against Apia Leichhardt Tigers, and basically he's served a 3-game suspension. He's only on the bench today. He comes back in, but they've had a couple of key players. Another one, Anthony Idahan, who's had a broken thumb for the last month. Another key player in their attack. And, the fact that they've been able to get through these finals, 3 games in the finals, 2 against Sydney United, really speaks to the spirit of this side. You really can't underestimate them here. And they've had a very good start to the game, I have to say.
In saying that, an injury to one of their players not looking good. A grand final for 2019. And a reminder as well, we do have, of course, injury time. Regular season, we don't have injury time in the 18s or the 20s, but we do, of course, when it comes to the finals.
I do have a couple of those players that we mentioned on the bench today. So the young chap I mentioned, Anthony Idahan, who's come back from a broken thumb, he is an option. Certainly, if there is an injury here, we'll hopefully keep an eye on this player, and hopefully it's not too serious. But they do have a couple of options. I mentioned also Nonso Chakwaeke as an option.
As Halfpenny gets back to his feet, should be all right. Cooper Halfpenny, he's had some good runs so far, which I've liked down that right-hand side, Tony, and that's something you've got to use. They've used the left-hand side probably more than the right in this game.
Yeah, I was at the preliminary final on Monday night at Valentine Sports Park against Sydney United. The 2 fullbacks were actually quite conservative. Sydney United forced them back. They moved the ball really well, Sydney United, and that forced Mount Druitt Town Rangers back. But because Blacktown have been fairly conservative in the opening 20 minutes in the grand final, I feel, that John Carnival has deliberately just absorbing Mount Druitt Town Rangers in the early going. He feels that they may have the confidence, perhaps the fitness later on. But yeah, it's been a great start from the 2 Mount Druitt Town Rangers fullbacks.
The Rangers have possession again. Ulisi now with it. Now a chance. The ball is into the area. Trying to find again the support. There's now the shot at the end doesn't quite work, and Samoa on that occasion alongside Osborne both pushing hard, but the shot going wayward at the end.
Yeah, I love that little bit of combination. It didn't quite come off. Uleset trying to combine with Hinkas and Mola, 2 of the flashy front third players, and Reece Osborne picking up that ball and trying his luck from range. We know he can certainly hit him. So positive signs again for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
So still no score in the grand final, the local derby grand final, I guess you can call it, between Blacktown City and the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Nicholas Kutniak alongside Tony Tanous. On double duty today, Tony will be alongside Adam Santarossa for the big game between City United 58 and Apia Leichhardt at 6 p.m. Should be an absolute cracker. We'll have the full preview throughout the afternoon, but looking forward to that game. Yeah,
it's going to be something special, of course. Apia have been right in the mix. This is their 3rd grand final in a row. Sydney United. They've had an amazing run. 5 wins from their past 6 games. The finals run's been quite remarkable. So, yeah, looking forward to that big show later on.
We are indeed, of course, and don't forget the under-20s grand final will be called by Tony Saluno and Will Gotsis. And we've also got the halftime sprint as well, which is going to be a fantastic event, which we're looking forward to. We'll talk about it throughout the afternoon, all the various events we're going to have here at Bankwest Stadium. If you're not able to make the venue because you're at different locations, we'll be able to cover everything from the game to the colour and the hype around the ground as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to be here, really. This first time for me here at the Bankwest Stadium. I've seen so many big games across the last 30-odd years here at the Parramatta Precinct. And, this is a great way to kick it off. The young talent on display from Western Sydney.
At the end, it goes out for a throw for this Mount Druitt Town Rangers side. And they have played well in this grand final. We spoke about it before. They decided to go on the front foot and play the attacking game. Blacktown just looking for the counter-attack, which they play well, and it's always to their advantage too.
Yeah, I think that's certainly something that hasn't quite worked so far in terms of their transition game. I think Mount Druitt will be very pleased tactically with how they've set up, and they're on the front foot, and they're the team asking the questions. Blacktown, though, we talk about how good they've been defensively.
The ball is inside the area, but again will be cleared via Richards. And again, another clearance. The ball goes down towards Grimaldi. He works it across to Richards, and that's Callum Richards for the Rangers. Works it towards the 18-yard box, but again headed down. This will be in Tap, and Tap plays it forward. Then headed down by Connor Rose. Good work there by Adard to work it down. Again, the ball played towards the defensive zone of the Rangers, and again it will be cleared via the keeper and Allen. Down this western side, and again Samola. It goes back towards Richards, who goes to Grimaldi. Grimaldi quickly going back to Richards. You can see Richards again working the ball up the line, trying to find Osborne, but again, just a bit too much on that ball. Now it's Jackson Brown again. He's got some pace, Jackson Brown, doesn't he, as he works it to the left-hand side. And again, City looking for the opportunity as you see Allen push it down. It's cleared away at the ends. It was nearly Harry Carey at the back, but good clearance by Callum Richards, and it will be a corner for the Blacktown City side.
Yeah, good positive build-up that from Blacktown City. They haven't been able to keep too much possession in Mount Druitt's half, so I think they'll be pleased with that. In the end, Allen spilling that, but some good ball movement and seeing Caleb Jackson-Brown drive out of that midfield is a positive sign for John Carnival and his side.
Well, McLaughlin goes for the short corner. Adard now works it across. Chance again here as now we see McLaughlin trying to dribble his way through, but Grimaldi stops. A great defensive read again as we see the Rangers trying to play the ball up the line. They've got possession down this left-hand side once more and halfway. And Samoa trying to beat the defence, but great work at the end by Blacktown. As now the ball is worked up the line nicely via Tap. Bounces down this broadcast side. Again, this is Benash. Benash is taken down. And the foul's been given. Grimaldi not happy with the call, but the right decision made outside the box.
Yeah, 2 or 3 positive moments for Blacktown City. We saw them combine from a set piece. A nice little combination on the edge of the box, and they almost got him behind. The ball came out, and they knocked it back forward, and Benash has looked good on the ball, taking on his player there in Grimaldi and winning a free kick. So it is Blacktown's opportunity here to show us what they can do from a set piece.
26 minutes gone, no score in the grand final for 2019. As this will be Ryan Adard to take this set piece, 2-man war. You can see here Adard looking to circulate it towards the 18-yard box. The header goes wide at the ends. At the end, we saw Blake Richards running across trying to get the header. Just didn't work, and it goes past the goal line for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign. Blacktown starting to get forward and creating a couple of opportunities. It was the first look for us at a set piece for them. They've been on the back foot. They've been fairly conservative, and you can see now they're trying to push and get forward into the game. They are the favourites coming in. Maybe they felt they just wanted to absorb Mount Druitt Town Rangers in the early going and try and get on top of them. So it's a fascinating tactical battle at the moment between John Carnevale and Joe D'Amelio.
Well, Carnival is a very good coach, of course, for this Blacktown City side, and he'll be looking to make sure they keep on working hard in this contest. They've done a great job during the 2019 season. We spoke about it before. 19 wins with 11 on the trot. And the last time they lost the game was the first game of the season.
Yeah, it's been a remarkable record, really, the fact that they've been able to keep 22 games undefeated. That's not only remarkable, but, you know, the lack of goals that they've conceded, only 16 in the regular season. As I said earlier, you take away the 3 games against Mount Druitt Town Rangers, and they've only conceded 10 goals in the other, 20-odd games. So it's a goal, half a goal a game, their defensive record. So they really are backing themselves defensively. The irony is the games between these two sides have been extremely high scoring, an average of 6 goals a game. So it's quite disappointing here for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. They've had to make a change early on.
Riley Howarth goes off the field, and it's going to be Pelcho who makes his way onto the field. So we probably expected after that injury a couple of minutes ago by Halfpenny that Mount Druitt were going to make a change, but now losing Riley Howarth, that's a big loss for the Rangers. Of course, we appreciate your feedback via the Facebook page and also the YouTube page in 2019. One of the comments coming through from Franco saying, looks like the kick and chase isn't working for Mount Druitt Town.
Yeah, look, I think at the moment they are trying to build through. They're getting their fullbacks going forward, and that's the key thing, I think, for them, trying to get that width and trying to expose Blacktown in those wide areas, and then that combination between Sun Mola and Reece Osmond in that middle, along with Ulese.
So Mola now works it across the face, finds here Illich, and Illich again looking to work it down to the right channel. No score in the grand final for 2019 in the under-20s. As we see Halfpenny turned inside out. Now down the left-hand side again, trying to make some metres there or make a good break was in McLaughlin, but at the end it's been turned over. Osmond trying to work it forward. There's Halfpenny again outside the box. Halfpenny works it in, head of the way nicely via Berry. Again it drops down. Here's a shot, but it goes wayward at the end. But it's a good effort there by Garrett. Score remains 0-0 after 29 minutes.
Yeah, positive signs again from the Mount Druitt Town Rangers and certainly sending the right back. Connor Halfpenny is just limping back into position. We'll keep an eye on him. They've just had to replace Howarth down that right-hand side. So hopefully for Joe D'Amelio, there's no need to make 2 changes in quick succession.
So a score here, 0-0 in the grand final for 2019 in the under-18s. Don't forget the 20s coming up. Blacktown City against the Sutherland Sharks. Will Gontas alongside Tony Saluno. And then the grand final in the men's one between Sydney United 58 and RPL Leichhardt. Adam Santarossa alongside Tony Tanous to call all the action. As now we've got possession here via Grimaldi. Grimaldi working across to the right side. There's now Illich again working it back in the middle. Finds here Garrett. And Garrett stopping before he works it across to Grimaldi on the left-hand side. Grimaldi trying to work it up the line. Again, Samola finding support in Richards, but Richards can't get that last touch right. And score remains 0-0. I've got to say, Tony, we went down to the sheds before the game, and it was great to talk to the players. They'll relax, which is interesting to see on grand final day, but they were showing no emotion, that they're nervous in this game.
Yeah, look, I think it's a big occasion for everyone involved. The opportunity to play on the prestigious, Bankwest Stadium. That's a terrific opportunity for these young kids, and they were really enjoying it. The banter, as usual, flying around the changing room, having a go at the coach. He's got his own coach's room. The strength and conditioning coach has got his own area. Everyone's got their own warm-up area. It's a fantastic facility, and for these kids, a great opportunity. So you really want to enjoy the occasion as well.
Exactly right, Tony. I've got to agree with you. It's been sensational, and the fact that these two sides get the opportunity to play for the first trophy here, which is an amazing thing to think about. Like, these players will remember it for a lifetime if they get the opportunity to win, as Osmond works it across and he finds support. Osmond was taken down the challenge and the foul's been given. Looks like there might be a yellow card given towards here Bradley Tapp. Just be a word of warning, and that's it.
Yeah, he's a real enforcer in that centre of midfield. Alongside Caleb Jackson-Brown is Brad Tapp, and Reece Osmond just dropping in to get involved, the big number 9. We talk about his work as a target man, and he loves to get back and set up the play. A very technical player is Reece Osmond, and he wants to get involved in the Mount Druitt build-ups.
Again, Grimaldi works it in. Nice work by Vahos. He finds here the support, but again, just couldn't get the last effort away, Samola. And now we see Blacktown on the floor again with Rose. And Rose now working it down this left channel, but it's headed down by Halfpenny. Ball goes back to Halfpenny, but he plays it. And it did touch off Blacktown, so it'll be a throw on that far side. At the end, it did touch off Connor Rose. I want to support for Connor Rose as well on the Facebook page as well, which has been great to see. Comments coming through, and we appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, certainly that Blacktown front four, they've been scoring goals. The front, Connor Rose, Thomas Bean, Nash, and also Kai McLaughlin, all in double figures for the season. Attard as well, it's got 7 or 8 as well, so they can all score goals. They've got goal scorers in that front third. But Mount Druitt Town Rangers have done a really good job of controlling this game so far.
And that's the thing, the Rangers who have been on the high press the whole game. Like, you look at Grimaldi, he's on halfway. He's been on there for most of the game, to be brutally honest, as he's got possession again. Grimaldi looks to work it down the line, but again, Vahos works it back to Grimaldi, and he's going to work it to this right-hand side, but it's shut down by McLaughlin, but he plays it out for a throw. Halfpenny probably a little bit too wide on that occasion.
Yeah, Blacktown City happy to just drop off with their 2 banks of 4 at the back, and that 4 in midfield. They defend with a 4-4-2, so you can see that. They don't want to let the likes of Sunmola, Yinka Sunmola, and also the attacking central midfielder, Elijah Ulese, get too much space around the edge of the box. So it's a fascinating battle at the moment.
The analysis from Tony Tanous and all the positive feedback saying the way that Tony's been able to break down this game has been great. As here's a save at the end by Kuniko. Kuniko hoiks this towards the left. Goes over halfway. Just couldn't get the header on there. Rose at the end. There's now possession on the right-hand side by Pen Choi. Trying to beat his defender at the end. Works it into the centre. It was a 3-on-1 challenge at the end. It goes back to Vahos. Now finds Halfpenny on the right channel. Tries to work it into the box. It's headed away. Now Vahos again controls it. Trying to work it back at the end. He finds the support. Goes past Garrett. But there is Grimaldi again. Grimaldi now in the centre. Osman again. Works it to the right. Pen Choi was offside and the flag is up. 0-0 to score in the grand final.
Yeah, in the end, the flag went up for offside. But I've got to say, again, Mount Druitt Town Rangers, the first involvement there we get to see of Dilang Pelchol on that right-hand side. Looked very lively, cutting inside there. The combination was excellent. Like the way Vlahos and Grimaldi are joining the attack and just winning the ball high up in the Blacktown half and really keeping the pressure on Blacktown. So there's very positive signs at the moment for Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
Callum Richards works it to the left at the end. Blacktown give away a foul. It was a challenge here by Duffy on Samola. That's why we'll see Mount Druitt Town Rangers have another opportunity, and this is going to be a good chance here, Tony, for the Rangers again. Yeah,
again, we get to look at the set piece, which has been good early. But Blacktown, we know about their mental strength, so they will be prepared to sit and hold and defend and get the best out of this situation. They will keep calm, and they're very good defensively. And a very good mentality as well. So a lot of mature young men on that pitch for Blacktown.
Viewers right across the world, from Newcastle in Australia to Sicily in Italy, which is great to see, Tony, at the support we've had. People from China already message us as we see a foul towards Blacktown City. The man on the deck there, rivaling in pain on that eastern side of the ground, the O'Connell Street end of the grounds. And gets back to his feet at the end here in Ben Ash, who's drifted from the right side to the left side, and they've actually switched him alongside McLaughlin too.
Yeah, and it's a good tactical adjustment just to try and get a little bit of a different angle with Binash, who likes to cut inside.
As now we see Blacktown City shut down. Nice work there by Illich. And again, Pen Choi, he works it forward. He finds Osman. A chance again for the Rangers. Samoa wants the ball. He's calling for it. It's chipped there by Osman. Samoa tries to beat the defender, but again, Corey Smith is there. I should say on that occasion, Duffy is there, and it's now worked down the line. Again, it's Blacktown City who played out.
What about that little chip over the top here? Reece Osman, he's a futsal player, plays for the Inner West Magic. A lovely little dink over the top there just to combine with Sun Mola. And you could see his technical futsal skills coming to the fore there.
So the ball is worked back. And again, possession here for Grimaldi. Vahos is on halfway. Vahos works it down to Pen Choi. He's outside the box here. He wants to work it back. Good work by Blacktown City. And again, it's Adard. Now City have control with tap. Grimaldi controls it for Rangers. And again, Grimaldi looking to drift into the middle and works it to the left. Samoa can't get the foot onto the ball and it goes out for a throw on this western side, the Old Kings end of the ground. As now we see Blacktown City work it over halfway, but again, we see Grimaldi, and he's been great at the back, hasn't he? I've been impressed the way he plays and the way he's able to go high press, but then when he goes back and gets himself in the right positions.
Yeah, I think the two boys with the mop hairstyles, Grimaldi and Vlahos, have been really good in those key positions down the spine for Mount Druitt, showing that presence, that physical presence, but also that calm. You can see that they are quite the leaders on the field for the Rangers.
Well, don't get me on a talking point, Tony. You know that I've spoken about hair during the season. I believe there should be one of the awards, best hair in the NPL at the gold medal night, which is on in a couple of weeks. We'll find out all the information. Of course, the winner of the Player of the Year is now we see Samoa again outside the box, works it back. Richards now again works at the 6-yard box, but it's head of the way. Still a chance as now Duffy heads it down. And now it's Blacktown City. Again trying to work the ball, but he was taken down McLaughlin. Still play continues, but a foul will be given towards City.
It's funny you talk about an award for the best hair in the NPL. Yeah. I know Shannon Codd, who's on the bench today, is in the strength and conditioning position for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. We call him the best beard in Australian sport. He certainly wants a category, an awards category in that field. He reckons he's a good chance.
Oh, behave, Tony, as the ball drops down towards here Garrett. And Garrett again works it into the middle. Good work by Vahos. And again, it's Richards on the left. And again, Samoa works it back to Richards. And now it's back into Mount Druitt's own half with Grimaldi once again. Garrett back to the keeper and Allen. And Allen, of course, trying to get a feel of the game. He hasn't seen much of the ball in this contest as Grimaldi works it up to Samoa. Here's a chance inside the box. Again, all over him is Duffy like Calamine Lotion, but here's Osman again, pushes it wide.
Great opportunity.
The end will be a corner.
Yeah, great opportunity there for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Lovely transition there. Sunmola got him behind, and we saw Reese Osman. Whenever Sunmola gets on the ball, Reese Osman is always looking to pick up the pieces, and on that occasion it was Blake Richards who made an important intervention.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that, Tony. So we'll see the corner on this northeastern side of the grounds. Bankwest Stadium, Grand Final Day 2019, the under-18s. No score between City and Mount Druitt as the corner's whipped in. And again, it's too wide. Trying to find a far post, but at the end it was just too deep. And the score remains 0-0.
Yeah, I think Mount Druitt Town Rangers might fancy themselves at those in-swinging set pieces, trying to catch out. Cunico, he's not the tallest keeper. We saw him produce an outstanding save, though, early on to deny Ulysses with a great acrobatic stop to deny a point-blank header.
You can hear the crowd in the background here at Bankwest Stadium, Grand Final Day 2019, as Samoa trying to head it forward again. Couldn't find Vahos. As now Berry works it down the line. Again, trying to hold control here was McLaughlin. McLaughlin in the middle. And again, a chance as we see taken down the challenge. Jackson Brown, the foul's been given. You can see he was coming from the side, Pelcho. Pelcho at the end gives away a foul. It will be Blacktown City again with an opportunity with the set piece.
Yeah, the referee, Joel Crawford, another local. He's only up the road at the Hills Association. Yeah. And he's right on the spot there as Dilung Pelchol made that foul on Jackson Brown. But good work from Pelchol there just to work back and drop in and help out in that midfield.
Tony Tanous alongside Nicholas Kutniak here for the NPL New South Wales Men's 1 on the 18's Grand Finals. Now we see Samoa down this left-hand side. Samola's got some good pace, but again, you can see Blacktown City equal to the task. But Samola's able to work it back. And
kept his composure well.
He did indeed. Callum Richards once again. Richards trying to work it inside the area. And just too much on that one. And that goes out and should be a goal kick for Blacktown City.
Yeah, more encouragement though. Again, it's positive in those wide areas. Richards coming forward. The left back, Callum Richards, getting forward and trying to combine with Yinka Sunmola. More positive signs. Reece Osman's been on the ball quite a bit. Even Dilang Pelchol, since he's come on, has got on the ball as well.
I've got to say, we're seeing some great messages coming through. Now there's fans for Callum Richards. Before we had the fans of Connor Rose, but Callum Richards has got his fans now chiming in as well as Vahos wins possession. Able to work at the Penchoy on this right channel. Penchoy again. Tries to cross it in. Near a goal line, but again it goes into the centre. It's saved by the keeper as the flag goes up.
Yeah, lovely drive again from Pelchol down that right-hand side. Great impact from him. We saw Howarth, unfortunately, having to limp off Riley Howarth, but Dilang Pelchol, he's come on that right-hand side, and he's trying to take on Tyron Burney. It's a good battle.
It is a good battle indeed. Really enjoying this game, and let's see what these two sides can do before the halftime break as well, as the ball is worked forward by Garrett. An opportunity again. Samola at the end, it goes wide. In fact, on that occasion, going wide, the shot there was in Ulessi, I should say, and it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, the speed of Sinmola and Ulessi suddenly starting to make a real impact for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. They're getting the opportunity to thread balls into good areas behind the Blacktown City fullbacks. And you saw Vlahos there, again winning the ball high up for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. So they continue to dominate, I feel, this first half. Nothing to show for it, though, so Blacktown won't be too disappointed in that sense.
Yeah, but how many times we've seen it before, Tony, before the break, is when you see that goal that sort of breaks the heart before the break. As again, you see here, Blacktown City trying to win the possession. Garrett doing his best for Mount Druitt Town. As the ball was worked down the line by Adard. And again, cut down the good tackle there. Was in Rose. You could see there Grimaldi again with that nice tackle. Seen some great defensive reads by him today.
Yeah, really not giving Connor Rose, who's a real danger man in this competition. He's been one of the standouts.
Ball goes inside the box, it's headed away. And again, Ulysses just had an air swing as the ball works to the right. And again, an opportunity. And this is in Jackson Brown. Works the cross to the right side. Now we see Bernash trying to cross it in. Bernash couldn't cross it in at the end. And now we see the Rangers. Ulysses trying to find some Molar in the middle. Ball tracks back, and now we see Penchoy.
Interesting there, just seeing a few players slipping around. We haven't seen that throughout the game so far, just 3 or 4.
You're not wrong about that, Tony, as the ball goes inside the area. Halfpenny swings it across, bounces off the keeper, goes past the goal line for a corner.
Yeah, excellent work from the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. They were defending down one end a moment ago. You talk about that opportunity scored just before the halftime break. Halfpenny down the right-hand side has been very positive and very productive getting forward. He's been limping throughout the first half, but he keeps going. What a great engine he does have down that right-hand side, kind of Halfpenny.
Still no score in the grand final. We're into injury time in the first half here. As now Osman crosses it in, but it goes way wide. And at the end it goes back to Ryan Duffy. And Duffy just lets it go past the eastern touchline for a throw. Tony Tanous, this has been a very even first half. Again, Blacktown's had to do most of the defending, but they've been able to hold out this Rangers side.
Yeah, and we talk about that record that they have had throughout the season. Yeah. 19 goals conceded, from their 23 games so far. So you can see that record. They've been able to withhold for all of Mount Druitt's positive and attacking play, and they certainly have been the dominant force. Blacktown have been able to repel so far.
Nicholas Kutniak alongside Tony Tanous for the Under-18's grand final. Tony Tanous, of course, will warm up as well after this one for the first grade grand final. Looking forward to Sydney United 58 against RPL Leichhardt at 6 p.m. And don't forget at 2:30, it's the big one between Sutherland and Blacktown City in the under-20s. Tony Saluno calling the game alongside Will Gotts as now. Possession here, Ulysses works it back to Samola, but it's cleared away at the end by Duffy. Drops down, played down the line again. And trying to chase onto it is Rose, but it's cleared away. Great work by Grimaldi again.
Yeah, he and the skipper, Illich, have been in control of that central defensive unit. Illich with the armband, of course, but Grimaldi, he's a real leader.
Yeah, Grimaldi has been really doing well today. As the ball worked back, Jackson Brown can't control it. As there's a whistle for half-time in the grand final for the under-18s. 0-0 between Blacktown City and the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Tony Tanous will get your thoughts before we go to the break.
Yeah, I think certainly at the halftime break, Joe D'Amelio would certainly be pleased with the way Mount Druitt Town Rangers have played in the first 45 minutes. We talk about the injuries that they've had in the last month building into this. And they have played 3 games, so they are quite battle-hardened. And they've been the team that has been on the front foot. I think Blacktown appear to have been happy to sit back, but they've not been able to get their transition game going. So maybe we might see them come out a little bit more in the second half. It sets up a fascinating second half. It's been a terrific opening to grand final day here at Bank West.
So it is half-time or break here, and on the other side of this, the second half between Blacktown City and the Mount Druitt Town Rangers in the under-18s grand final in the New South Wales men's one. And welcome back to Bankwest Stadium for the Under-18s NPL New South Wales Div 1 Grand Final, the Mount Druitt Town Rangers and the Blacktown City side. And this has been a very interesting game, Tony Tanous. Been impressed with both sides. How do you see this second half developing?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Blacktown City come out. I think they're very conservative. John Carnival, perhaps concerned about the threat of Yinka Sunmola and also Elijah Ulesi, who has shown quite a bit of speed. Mount Druitt's fullbacks getting forward. So let's see if Blacktown start to come out a little bit more and try and create something around the edge of Mount Druitt Town Rangers' box.
Ulesi about to start things for the Rangers. Of course, defending the club into the ground, and the second half is underway. Osborne hoiks this towards the eastern side. At the end, it goes out. Duffy seeing it going out for a throw for Blacktown City as now again it's Berry who goes back to Duffy. Ball drops down, and there's Garrett again. You can see the high press already by the Mount Druitt Town Rangers as they come across to this right side. Now it's Illich again, who utilises Halfpenny. At the end, Blacktown City shut it down. As the ball is played out, it'll be a throw towards here the Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
Looks like they've reverted back to their original shape with Kai McLaughlin back out on the left-hand side. We saw him and Binash just swap towards the end of that first half. Binash, who started on the right, came over to the left, but they've reverted back to their original default positions. McLaughlin's in here, the skipper for Blacktown. Really needs to help pick things up here for John Carnival's team.
McLaughlin was taken down in the challenge. The foul has been called for Blacktown City.
A lot of games between these two have been decided very late on. Talk about that 4-3 back in round one, which Mount Druitt Town Rangers won. Blacktown were leading 3-2 in that game, very deep into that game. So there's, you know, the games between these two, all could have gone either way, very much so.
So quickly on this right channel, we see Garrett taken down. McLaughlin wins out after that challenge by tap. Now the ball has worked to the middle, but he can't get to it there in Jackson Brown. Again, the Rangers quickly on the spot. Osborne now working it towards the 18-yard box. Head of the way nicely via Berry. Drops down again. We see here Adard working across to Duffy. And Duffy down the tram line. And again, quickly shutting it down. Here's Grimaldi.
Yeah, and that's not what Blacktown want to see. They're not able to make that ball stick when they're getting it out of the back third. And that's not what you want to see. I think link-up play hasn't quite been there. The fullbacks need to make sure that they connect when they're coming out. That's a real key for Blacktown in this second half, I feel.
Not wrong about that, Tony Tanous. No score in this grand final. We're into the second half. We've just had about 2 minutes and 20 seconds or thereabouts as the ball is lobbed up by Halfpenny at the end. Can't find the spot.
He's produced a couple of good saves in that first half. The youngster in Zane Kuniko, the keeper, came across from Blacktown Spartans, the neighbouring Blacktown Spartans, to Blacktown City in the off-season. One of only two additions to the Blacktown squad. The other one, Binash, who came across from Hills Brumbies. So it's been a very stable side. Last year's under-16s won the championship, and the 18s came second. And they've combined those two squads into this year's squad that came first. But as we know, Nicholas, there's a history in the New South Wales National Premier League. I think you don't win, not many teams win the premiership and championship double. It's not easy to do.
You're not wrong about that, Tony. We've seen a couple of teams just fail on that last hurdle. Grand final day, always pressure riding on sides as Halfpenny. And Penchoy now holds control. Nice turn of foot there to beat Jackson Brown. And again, Garrett. Halfpenny again. Penchoy. At the end, it's cleared away. It will be touching off Mount Druitt to be a throw for Blacktown.
Yeah, he made a good impact, Pelchol, coming off the bench for the injured Howarth. And that combination, I think in the wide areas, it's certainly been Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Halfpenny and Pelchol on the right. You got also Callum Richards and Yinka Sunmola on the left.
So again, the ball driven to this right channel. Penchoy can't do much with it, Penchoy. And it's played out by Blacktown again. Good defensive effort by Blake Richards. Now we'll see Halfpenny to take the throw. And again, Ben Choi trying to beat the fence, but this has been great work by Blacktown City. Been impressed with them in this game. The way they've been able to hold out the Rangers, but you just wonder how long it'll be. As now we see Illich was taken off the ball, and now we see on the attack Blacktown via Rose. Connor Rose tries to beat Grimaldi, but again Grimaldi's taken down. And the foul will be given towards the Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
Yeah, and that's the moment that Blacktown wanted. They want to go quick in counter-attack. They noticed that Illich was out of position there, and they tried to expose him in behind. But Grimaldi, excellent work again. He's had a terrific game, just getting between Connor Rose and forcing the error.
Yeah, Grimaldi's been great, hasn't he, Tony? I've been impressed with him today. As again we see Tap work it back, and he finds here Blake Richards back to Tap on this left channel. On the western side of Bank West Stadium. As now we see Blake Richards working it down to the right channel. And again, Duffy back across to Richards. And Duffy again. And in fact there it was in Berry that works it down the line. Duffy wide to the right as it's cleared away. And it will be a throw for Blacktown City.
Yeah, and certainly looking at the bench, maybe that's one of the thinking from John Carnival and the Blacktown City technical team. They do have a lot of attacking players on the bench, the likes of Christian Cherino and also Veldhuizen, Cameron Veldhuizen. So they do have some attacking punch off the bench. The longer this game goes, they can start to use the bench.
So 51 minutes gone in the grand final. No score between Blacktown and Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Osmond down the eastern side. Boots it long. And again we see possession. Ulysses again outside the box. Ulysses working it across, but Penchoi's not there. It's cleared away. Now we see Halfpenny. Will he have a crack? He does from distance, but again, saved there by Torino and Cincino, I should say, and the score remains here 0-0.
Yeah, good work again from Mount Druitt Town Rangers. More positive signs there when the ball fell out. One of the attacking fullbacks, Halfpenny, who's had a very good game. The right back was hobbling very early on. Looked like he was injured. But it looks like he's shaking that off at the start of the second half. And that was a decent attempt from range.
Janeko with that save. Is now Ben Choi. Holds control. He's taken down from the head. It looked like it was a challenge there. Contact with Tyron Burney. And straight away he's on the deck. This will be bad if they lose him because they've already had one substitute.
Yeah, and he's the player that came on for Howarth. So Riley Howarth was the player injured, the right attacking option for them, the starter. And then Pel Chol. Pel Chol, who's come on. He's just gone down here. They have had some issues on this right-hand side. We've seen Halfpenny go down earlier on. Howarth and now Pel Chol, who's really, I think, made an impact. He's an imposing figure and blessed with blistering speed. Speaking of speed, you're looking forward to calling the dash.
Yes.
Later on, Nicholas.
Looking forward to it, Tony. I'll be studying the colours when the mounting yard is there later on.
Yeah, look,
I thought I was at Rose Hill for a moment.
Yeah, some real heavies in that. Likes of James Andrews, the Jimmy the Jet, they call him. Also, Blacktown City, Leroy Jennings. I think those two are probably the favourites heading into that. So it's going to be interesting.
I'm pretty sure it's a soft 7. I'll get that confirmed. There might be a track upgrade at some point this afternoon to the later part of the evening. Rose Hill's running on a heavy 9 too. But the track looks good, all things considered. It's had some traffic here with the Shoot Shield Grand Final last week with the 4 games there, plus the Rugby League, which they had 2 games on the Thursday previous as it's headed down.
Look, I think one of the things about the stadium, obviously, is that there will be a lot of usage because the other stadiums are rubble at the moment around Sydney. So, that's one of the challenges. That I did notice a bit of slipping and sliding, so it's a key thing. Obviously, in football, the surface is very important. And, it's playing not too bad. I think it didn't look great when we first sort of walked in, but it's been playing pretty well in this 18s, which will give the 20s and first grade boys plenty of confidence.
McLaughlin again has control, works it to the right side, but again headed down. Gain still alive here. Jackson Brown able to work it across. And again, this is in Bernash. And it's been pushed out at the end nicely via Callum Richards. He's been good also on that left channel.
Yeah, the whole back 4 for Mount Druitt Town Rangers, really impressed by them. An experienced back 4 in an inexperienced side, and they've done really well.
Fans watching from Scotland as well. So it's great to see we've got a big audience across the Football New South Wales network today. Before you mentioned about the stadiums being in a rabble, I thought for a moment you're talking about the roads as well.
I think it's just great to be here. I mean, to see this stadium, which was, rubble for quite some time.
Yeah.
It's hosted so many big games over the years, so many big football games. Recently the home, of course, of the West Sydney Wanderers, but a massive story, massive history around.
So Rose, a deft kick at the end, and it's saved nicely. Step by Allen.
Hasn't had too much space, Connor Rose, and that was a rare moment there. He didn't quite connect, but that's the sort of build-up you want to see from Blacktown.
Pyongyang as well. We've got viewers watching from North Korea. How good. International superstar Tony Tanous is now Blacktown City taken in the challenge. Again, Vahos loses control, and now it goes back to Jackson Brown. At the end, it goes to a Mount Druitt down ball. And it'll be a throw-in for the Rangers.
How good does that look? The NPL New South Wales Men's Grand Final on the signage.
Yep.
What an occasion here at Bankwest.
We've also got fans watching from Turkey as well as on this right channel. It is in Ilic. Again, he works it back to Allen. So 10.5 gone, second half, no score. Nicholas Kutniak and Tony Tanous on Football New South Wales. It's great pressure throughout the 2019 season to bring you all the NPL. And by the way, it's not done after today. Tomorrow we've got both the NPL Division 2 matches in the semi-finals. Should be a fantastic day. Of course, we've also the women's matches as well. All will be covered during the finals as it all continues.
Yeah, huge day tomorrow. Father's Day here, of course, in Australia. But plenty of football around. Get your fathers out there. NPL 2 semis. Women's Super Sunday.
Not wrong about that. Here's a chance for Rose, but he just hoiks it up, and it's going to be saved nicely by Allen. He had a little bit of a dipsy doodle with the drop, but at the end he controls it, and the score remains 0-0.
Yeah, I'm impressed by the last few minutes from Blacktown. They're starting to get the ball out into those wide areas. Binash in particular down that right-hand side, and they've managed to hit the striker in Connor Rose. We know he's got a few fans on the live stream. I'm sure they'll be pleased to see him get his foot on the end of a couple of opportunities. And you give him too many, he's got a great record in this league. Connor Rose, a player who has got Australian schoolboys, of course, background. Lovely combination, this.
It's a good combination, but it just delivers nothing at the end. Bernie just playing it straight towards Allen. But I've got to say before, what about that chest by Osman? Hasn't he got some good touches?
Yeah, he's got a great presence up front. The target man plays in that traditional number 9, can finish. Scored the only goal from the penalty spot against Sydney United on Monday night in the prelim final. He's got a great record this year among the leading scorers.
Throw-in taken on this western side. Bernie again. Tap. Osman on him. Again, Tap working it to the right side.
Player, of course, Grease Osman, who's also got schoolboys, Australian schoolboys experience. So many of these young, talented players. This is the next generation you're watching.
Which is great to see. Berry works that ball on. Again, this is Bernash's beaten for pace. Down this left-hand side. And again, this is Yelisi. And also Samola both been key, but it was Samola on that occasion.
Beautiful little technicians, Yinkas and Mola.
As again, it is in Halfpenny who works it back. And now this is Illich. And again, Grimaldi. Working it back, Vahos. And now Illich again. And Illich looking to work it down the line to Halfpenny. And again, it's played out. Good defensive read by Bernie. Was on him straight away as there's the header down. Garrett trying to get onto the ball, but here's Blacktown City on the roll now. Adard trying to work it to the right side, too deep. It will be a throw for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
And they're starting to get a couple of those little opportunities to transition. Mount Druitt didn't really let them do that in the first half. And there's a couple of times where Brown Jackson in that midfield, or Jackson Brown I should say, has won that ball, and Natard's had a little bit of space and room to try and thread that killer transition ball.
Ball worked into the middle. Blacktown City again had possession. Worked to this left-hand side, the Connor Rose. And now at the end he plays it down the line but goes out for a throw on this near side. So, 59 gone. It's 0-0 between Blacktown City and Mount Druitt Town. Football New South Wales live coverage. It's been great in season 2019 to stream all the NPL 1 games in first grade and also the 20s. And we should really put a shout out to the whole commentary team. Adam Santaros and yourself, Tony, have been leading us throughout the 2019 season. And also, let's not forget Tony Saluno, Will Gotts, he's been great this year, as well as Nate Patrick, who sadly won't be with us today for the broadcast. Dave McDonald and also Jack Clifton helping us out. And it's been great during the 2019 season to bring you all the action. It's great to be here for the 18's grand final as well.
Yeah, it's certainly been a terrific year. We haven't seen the 18s. Obviously, they've not been on the live streams, but it is great that this grand final is showcased. Gives these kids an opportunity to really showcase their play. And I think they've both done really well so far. There's still a lot to play for in this game. They've been very tight. Half an hour left in normal time. And as we said earlier, 10 minutes of extra time each way. So we go all the way to penalties if we need it. That's how these two decided things in the major semi-final.
Don't give me more heart attacks for penalties. Already called one penalty last week in a grand final. Don't need another heart attack, Tony. As now we see Berry playing it out for a throw on that far side.
Yeah, and it was very tight between these two, obviously, when they did play in that major semi-final at Lilly Stadium. Mount Druitt Town Rangers did well to finish at 3-3, and they've really done well in this game, and they've got an opportunity here down the right-hand side.
So Paul Choi works it back to Halfpenny at the ends. Just hasn't been able to find the angle, and goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think Blacktown will certainly be happy. John Carnival, it's a great bit of banter between him. He's been long-time mates with Stuart Montgomery. So Stuart Montgomery, obviously the boss of the Mount Druitt Town Rangers, and they used to play together. You know, I won't say how many years ago because I'll probably get in trouble if I tell you how many years ago.
You're calling the games, Tony.
But they were certainly long-time mates, and Andrew Montgomery, who's going to be in the dugout for Blacktown City. Great connection between these two clubs.
Yellow card given towards here. Tap for that challenge on Osman. As you saw in the pictures before there, Tony, and at the end the right decision was made there by Joel Crawford, the referee in charge. He's done a fantastic job today, I've got to say. Yeah,
he's done well not to pull out too many yellow cards, and he's managed the game really well. Just had a chat to the players, kept their emotions in check very well, but it is a great set-piece opportunity here. Dimos Vlahos over the ball.
Vlahos, it's a three-man wall too. Players angle towards the edge on the left-hand side of the box. An opportunity. Vlahos decides to work it towards the far post. Header! Saved at the ends. Kaneko with that great save.
Yeah, what an opportunity that was. Illich, the central defender, the skipper, coming forward from the set piece. And we saw a threat earlier on in the match. This time the header straight at Cunico. But a great opportunity. And again, Mount Druitt showing their threat from the free kick situation.
Score remains 0-0 in the grand final for 2019. As it goes back to Pearl Choi. Works it over halfway. Osman, has he got the pace at the end? No. Berry got the challenge, but Osman wins out. Osman now turns around to the edge of the 18-yard box. He's taken down the challenge. Play continues. Richards again. And you can see now Blacktown starting the lift. As now Addard works it back, and now it goes back into the centre. And Blacktown trying to just play it down, and at the end it was too deep for Corner Rose, and it goes back to Allen for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
Yeah, and that's been a bit of an issue for Blacktown when they have just stopped Mount Druitt. They've not been able to get that transition ball accurate, and that's been a big issue for them. Their final delivery's not quite been on song, and I think in the remaining 30 or so minutes, that's really the challenge for them, just to find that execution.
Up high here at Bankwest Stadium, we can tell you that where we are, the clouds are showing us blue sky, which is good. So hopefully we'll have a good, clean afternoon. And that's what we want to see, Tony, on grand final day. Great atmosphere, and we're seeing that at the moment. The Mount Druitt Town supporters in front of us, just near halfway on the eastern side of the ground. There's a few Blacktown supporters as well. Of course, they play the next game against Sutherland. Live coverage too with Tony Saluno and Will Gotts. Looking forward to listening to the call from those guys. And then the big one, Tony Tanusa alongside Adam Santarossa. And that's going to be a great game. Sydney United 58, an RPLI card.
Yeah, plenty of time to still make your way to Bankwest Stadium. Understand that pre-sales have been the best they have since pre-sale opportunities popped up 4 or 5 years ago. So,
Yeah.
you know, it all sets the scene for a great crowd here. We understand there's going to be a big active area for the Sydney United fans. So there's going to be a great atmosphere here. So come along if you can. If you're not, if you can't make it, stay right where you are.
Score remains here 0-0 in the grand final for 2019. Nicholas Kutniak alongside Tony Tanous. As I said, it's been a great year, and we appreciate all the support we've had. And it's been great. And the team, of course, the media team at Football New South Wales has been terrific. Both Jess Grimer and also Mark Stavlakis have been great help, as well as all the riders during 2019. And we've all worked together, and Tony can attest to that, as now we see possession here. And this will be in Ulysses, who works it across Samola again. He's outside the box now. He just works it back to the left-hand side. Here's the wayward attempt that goes wide, and Callum Richards, he wasn't happy with it. At the end, he did the dummy kick to himself, thinking, why did I just scuffed it?
Yeah, disappointed with the outcome, the final ball, but really, again, Mount Druitt, I like the way that Sunmola just tucks inside, allows Richards to come around the outside there, and his delivery's been decent today, but on that occasion it let him down.
You can hear the crowd in the background. Under 25 minutes left in the under 18's grand final regulation time. And who will take out? Near the end of the championship rounds, of course, Tony, and it's been a good battle between these two sides. A little bit tame in some regards as the ball played down the centre again. Shut down by Halfpenny initially, but again, Blacktown City trying to roll forward. McLaughlin's pass didn't work, and it goes back to Grimaldi for the Rangers. Now Osman again. He's been worked hard today. Tries to find his support, but again, can't find the target in Ulysses. And it's played away. It will be a throw on the eastern side of the ground.
Considering they are without some key players, and it looks like we're going to see a substitution, but particularly Jesse Herchvich, who's been the key go-to in that number 10 role. The fact that they're without him, it's been a great job. Looks like Blacktown about to make a change. They're going to bring on Cameron Veldhuizen, who's a wide attacking player. So let's see who he comes on for. It could be Attard.
Yes, it is. Attard going off the field here, Tony. So that's the substitution. Here's the sun. We can see it coming through. Isn't that a great... It's such a great view. It's like watching FIFA. you know when you play FIFA and you see that great... Yeah, it's just amazing. It's such a great stadium. And I know I'm excited, but, you know, it's such a great venue we've got here in Sydney's West, and we're all proud of it. And it's been great to watch a game here.
Yeah, so let's see what that change does.
Yeah, it's an important change too, you think, because now we see Blacktown flick that ball again.
So we see the skipper. He's just gone into the number 10 role. Here he is, Kai McLaughlin.
And now we see possession here for Jackson Brown. The ball goes towards here Connor Rose, but he was offside the whole time.
And you see Kai McLaughlin's just gone into that number 10 role. Attard's come off, and Veldhuizen's come on the left-hand side. And you just saw McLaughlin there trigger that counter-attack quickly. So he is an adaptable player, can play in that key playmaker role, centre-attacking midfield. And you saw Blacktown there. That's exactly what they love to do, go forward very quick.
No score in the grand finals. The ball goes back across. And again, it is in Samola, who works it back down the line to Richards. Callum Richards again. And turn to Osman. Now it's just inside the box. Again, Ulysses working it back. Samola's there again. Pilchoy. He hasn't been playing well, hasn't he? It's Pilchoy. Again, Blacktown shut it down. Pilchoy, again, has been one of the players who have been key in this game as Blacktown City have it once again.
I think Blacktown will certainly be happy with the last 10 or 15 minutes. They haven't quite created the opportunities, but they're starting to blunt Mount Druitt Town Rangers, and they've had a little bit of room. I think they fancy themselves to finish strongly in this game. Mount Druitt have been sort of limping their way through with a lot of injuries.
And here's a shot. Again, ricochets off. And the score remains 0-0.
So let's see if Blacktown can finish strong. Again, another positive sign there with Jackson Brown getting on the ball.
Pelchow again. Just hasn't been able to hold out. And now we see Ilhusen again pushed off the ball. Foul's been given. Vahos not happy.
Blacktown growing more and more into this game. The Premiers trying to complete the double. John Carnival's side won the competition with a massive 12-point gap.
Nil the score. Works short. McLaughlin pushes off there. The defence. And the foul's been given. Pushed off Garrett on that occasion.
Yeah, he came into the game with an injury cloud, some question marks over whether he was ready to start. Suffered an injury early in the finals against Sydney United. But he's been very good. Callum Garrett just screening alongside Dimos Vlahos in that midfield. And he did a good job there on the speedstering McLaughlin just to shut him down.
Under 20 minutes of regulation time in the grand final. As it's worked over halfway. Comes down. And again, Grimaldi able to work it on Vahos. Chipping it forward. Again, it goes back and it's saved nicely. Kuniko. There's now tap. Vilhusen. Shut down nicely by Vahos. Pilchoy. Pilchow again, and it's pushed out. Score remains 0-0. So the throw to be taken on this side of the ground here.
Yeah, chatting to John Carnival, he certainly fancied the mental strength of his side and the fitness of his side. And let's see if that continues to come to the fore in these remaining 20 minutes. Give the ball away here. They're going to put a bit of pressure on themselves from a set piece.
So an opportunity again here. Corner to be taken. On this broadcast side of Bankwest Stadium. Corner taken, pushed away. Again, we see with Osborne, he has a shot that save Kuniko of a regulation save.
Yeah, he's a player that does have that ability, Reece Osborne, if he connects. Next stop back of the net, but that one time, Kuniko's shown himself to be a really good shot stopper. He's quick on his feet, gets his body behind the ball, and he's done well.
So now Rangers of Garrett again. Grimaldi. And across. We see Illich up the line. And it's headed out. It'll be a throw on this side of the ground. So this grand final continues to simmer. The opportunities now for the Rangers. Is now the ball worked across by Halfpenny, but shut down straight away. Headed there by Vahos. Again, the shot, regulation, and it's saved. Pinchao on that occasion. Saved by Kuniko as he kicks deep to halfway. And now Rose trying to beat the defence, but couldn't. And now it is an Illich. And it's worked upfield by Vahos, but stopped there by Blacktown initially. And City have it again. Now it's Garrett and taken down the challenge. Was it McLaughlin? The foul's been given.
And he's provided a bit of a spark in that number 10 role when he's moved across in behind Connor Rose. So keep an eye on that. I think both teams starting to tire a little bit and the transition moments are starting to open up. I think that will suit Blacktown. They like that. Been able to keep Mount Druitt Town Rangers out so far. And they'll fancy themselves finishing strong.
So the ball worked deep to this left-hand channel. Vilhusen trying to cross it in. At the end, teetering down the goal line, and it's saved nicely at the end via Allen.
Yeah, we talked a bit before about the defensive record of Mount Druitt Town Rangers and how that has improved throughout the season. And I think, Joe D'Amelio will certainly be pleased with the way they've defended. I said, they're only able to keep one clean sheet in the first half of the season. They've kept 8 in the second half of the season. So, they copped 24 in that first round, 10 in the second round. So you can see that the confidence has grown, their structure's improved throughout the season, and that's certainly been on display when you want to deliver it most in the grand final.
0-0 to score in what has been a great game. Again, Grimaldi, he's been terrific to watch, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think him alongside Illich has really grown in influence. Those two central defenders have really kept the dangerous Connor Rose out, for Blacktown. He's such a threat. Here he is with a bit of space.
And again, Grimaldi's there to shut it down. He's been everywhere today, Tony.
Yeah, the execution on that final ball wasn't quite right, but Grimaldi, if Illich goes forward, he's always ready to back him up, and that's the perfect combination in a central defensive partnership.
Substitution to be made now. We're about to see coming on for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. We're coming off the field, Pen Choi.
So the substitute going to be replaced by Idahan here, Anthony Idahan. The player I mentioned who's had a broken thumb for the last month. You can see a little bit of tape on his left thumb as well, but he's back in the, he's been cleared by the doctors to play here, and he's a regular starter, so let's see what he can do. Here he is.
And he's been beaten, Idahan, already. And again, up the line, Blacktown City go with Rose trying to win the ball, but Litch plays it out. It'll be a throw towards Blacktown City. Is this the moment? 14 minutes on the clock. There's Bernie. Throws it back. Richards.
Mentioned the history here. Famous name in the Blacktown City starting 11 today. Ben Berry, the son of Steve Berry, former Parramatta Power.
So here's an opportunity again here for Samola. Samola trying to have a crack. It was nicely defended by City, and again, they roll towards the right side.
What an important tackle that was.
Amazing tackle too, Tony.
Yeah, I think it was the left back in Blake Richards. A critical intervention there because Samola was about to line one up for the Town Rangers.
Again, I think the biggest thing in that regard, Tony, was the fact that he probably should have pulled the trigger probably a couple of seconds earlier.
Yeah, he probably gave Blake Richards the opportunity to dive in there. It was still a great challenge, though.
So repeating, it is no score in the grand final. 0-0.
Which is quite ironic given the games between these two sides. 6-goal average a game. They've been 4-3 scoreline, the 3-3 in the finals, a 2-2 in the second round game as well. So,
well, everything's been happening. Here's a chance for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. It's just about pulling the trigger, and eventually goes wide. He just couldn't get it over. At the end, disappointment for Ulysses.
Yeah, did great to keep the ball in. Blacktown probably switched off and fell asleep. Ulysses stayed alive, and then he rounded the defence, and you thought he just had to tuck it home. He was denied earlier, and I think Blacktown's recovery there, we talk about their desperation in defence, and you saw it on show there. Great opportunity missed, but he's got to keep his head.
Well, this could well be the moment for the Rangers now. The corner coming. The goal's been coming like Christmas. Can the Rangers get it here? Corner taken. Hit it up in the sky by Idahan. At the end, it goes past the goal line, but it will be another corner, this time on the southeastern corner.
Yeah, and just as you thought, Blacktown was starting to get on top. Mount Druitt have lifted. They've brought on Idahan on that right-hand side, and he's provided a bit of a injection. And they've got another set-piece opportunity with Osmond over the ball.
Osmond now takes the corner again. Chance, the header goes up in the air by Illich. Drops down Grimaldi. Controls the ball. Steps inside. Pushed away by Blacktown. Then it's lobbed up by Vahos. But goes away. And again, Blacktown have it on the right channel. This again. Binash. Binash down this right channel. Hasn't he been good today? Binash. And at the end, it goes out, and it will be a throw towards Mount Druitt Town. You can hear the fans in the background.
Yeah, but I really like the way Mount Druitt got the defensive midfielders back there. Binash was coming forward in transition, but Mount Druitt had the numbers working back in defence. And at the moment, they're showing good, positive energy. And just the last few minutes, they've started to get back on top.
Just the question is, where is this goal going to happen? You can see it can happen for either side at any moment. Just about where and who it's going to be. There's again on this right channel, Samola. And again, Ulysses has it. Ulysses now again. Works it back to the right channel. And good work by Halfpenny. Again, Samola. Halfpenny again. Halfpenny just boots it forward. Pushed away at the ends. Now Blacktown City. Again, trying to roll forward. Rose was beaten in the challenge, but Illich touched his hand, and only just touched his hand, but the referee right on the spot there.
Yeah, a bit unlucky. He did well to get the ball out of the path of Connor Rose in the initial phase there, but ended up landing his right arm on the ball, and it's given away a free kick. Blacktown have created a little bit at set pieces. At the moment, you're right, Nicholas, they don't really look like scoring or creating too much in open play, so perhaps this is their opportunity.
An opportunity now again for Blacktown City. The ball goes to the 18-yard box. It's headed down, be cleared away. And again, Idahan has it. Idahan again beaten for pace. And now this is where Blacktown start to kick in. As the ball played out by Richards.
Yeah, good little bit of combination down that right-hand side. Not quite able to get him behind, though. It's been the story of the afternoon for Blacktown.
Foul given. That was a rough challenge. A yellow card has been called straight away. Nash was taken. Nash was taking that challenge.
Is that the left back in Callum Richards, perhaps? Yeah, it was Callum Richards there who got the yellow card. It's been a good battle between those two. I think Richards has got to be careful now with the under 10 minutes remaining. Binash, well, with that confidence, he's got his opponent on a yellow card. He can get the ball down and drive at him.
Blacktown City and Mount Druitt Town, 0-0. Under 18's grand final, 2019. Breves in here. You can see the hands are up before he puts them down. Works it towards the 18-yard post, with the 18-yard box and pushed away. I'm trying to find the far post, but Richards to no avail.
Yeah, he's the central defender. Come forward there, and he got a little bit of a header on it, just couldn't direct it on target. And as I was saying, Blacktown, it looks like it might be their best avenue. They've just got a little bit of a window now with Callum Richards on a yellow. Maybe they can get it down to Binash, down that right-hand side. And Kai McLaughlin, we've seen a couple of link-up moments down that right-hand side. Can they get him behind or create something?
Again repeating, no score in the grand final. Could be going to 10 minutes each way, of course. That's the way we'll play extra time, if that is the case. It's now Blacktown City outside the box, trying to work it in. Header there by Rose, but again goes past the goal line for a goal kick.
Yeah, he hasn't had too many opportunities inside the box as Connor Rose. That was a half chance there. Again, that build-up, it's starting to look like a good avenue for Blacktown on that right-hand side. And Rose was just able to find a pocket of space in the box. Couldn't direct his header on target.
Repeating, no score in the grand final for 2019. Under 18s, Nicholas Kutniak, Tony Tanous with you. Describing what has been a very interesting game. The two in the throw. And you just wonder who's going to break. At the moment on par. It's just, at the moment, they're going game for game, so to speak, if you use a tennis parlance, but haven't been able to pull the trigger. Can Idahan do? No, not on that occasion. Saved nicely by Kuniko.
Using his body well there just to win the ball. Blacktown perhaps felt they had a free kick. Again, they couldn't get it past Kuniko. Straight at him.
So now, Garrett. It's touched off. It'll be a throw for the Rangers.
Quite amazing. They've just come up from NPL 2. Promoted, of course, in the off-season. They've got a great record of their youth ranks, Mount Druitt Town Rangers. They've certainly stepped up in their first year. 18s.
Can they somehow produce something here? It's going to be a tough ask because both sides have been holding each other out. As Grimaldi has it once again. Works it towards the 18-yard box. It's headed down. Again, the opportunity's coming. Blacktown City with Rose hitting it down. And then we see Wildhuizen. And Grimaldi lets it sit for Allen to just clear it. Drops down, headed via Richards. Vahos. Again on the right channel. Good work here via Samola. And back halfpenny finds here Illich. Grimaldi again. There's the head up. Rose headed down nicely at the end there by the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. They're back on the attack.
Nice combination and composure here.
St. Mola can't hold out. Blacktown at the end. Rose playing it straight back to halfpenny. But still Blacktown have it. It's been turned over a few times in the last couple of minutes as Rose, he hoiks this forward, but again, no pace here for Benash. A good save too by Allen. Under 5 minutes remaining in regulation time. As now we see Benash able to work it on.
Excellent work down that right-hand side, working back.
But Husen, can he beat the man at the ends? Allen's able to clear it.
Great tackle from Illich, important intervention. Blacktown, they were waiting for their moment. They thought they were in behind through the substitute in Wildhuizen.
Has taken down on the challenge there. Again was in Osmond.
Play slipping and sliding. Slick surface. Had a lot of rain here the last couple of days.
Not wrong about that, Tony. Samola again has possession. And here come Blacktown City. Husen found support. And the ball worked up the line. It's Rose now. And now Connor Rose stepping in. Works it across. They can't pull the trigger. That was what they were trying to do there with Jackson Brown. At the end, Tap works it across. Jackson Brown not there. And again, the Rangers have possession, but they lose out. Osmond had a push there with Wildhuizen. Got two players on the deck here, Tony.
Had to time that well. Callum Richards there, jumping in from that left back position for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. And he had to time that. He's on a yellow card, so these kids have to keep their composure.
Well, they both went down there, Tony.
Illich looks like also. Is it Benash as well? So Illich and Benash, two players just getting some treatment at the moment.
Yeah, so a couple of players getting the treatment here, Tony. We'll have a few minutes of injury time, that is for sure.
There have been late goals in the 3 games so far between these two sides, so not prepared to say it's going to go to extra time just yet.
Settle down, Tony.
Let's see.
Hey, it's a marathon today, not a sprint for you, okay? Just settle down, Tony. You got a long day ahead. I think we all do, to be honest. While we have still on the deck here that Mount Druitt Town player. And Illich, he's had a good game today. I think we can agree with that.
Yeah, him and Grimaldi in that central defence have been terrific. The skipper, Illich, has been one of their standouts for the season.
You can hear the crowd in the background. It starts to simmer. There's that sun again out.
They do have a central defender on the bench. You were there when he got sent off. Daniel,
Yes.
Daniel Goney, he's back in the squad today. He's been out of action throughout the finals after incurring a red card against Apia in round 22. In fact, that was Mount Druitt Town Rangers' only loss. They had such a terrific run. They haven't lost in normal time since round 8. Apart from that game against Apia, they've not lost in normal time. Round 8, they lost to Marconi back then. And so it's been a great run from both these sides. And you can see there's not much separating them, exactly what we expected heading in.
And they were disappointed with that game against Apia, no question about it. They were really annoyed with what happened in the whole game.
And I think they rested some players. It was the last round before the final, so any player that was on a yellow card, I spoke to Joe D'Amelio and the build-up to this game, they weren't prepared to take a risk with any player that was on a yellow. And so that was an aberration, that game, I think.
Zydahan
Thought he was fouled there.
Remonstrating with the the linesman. Incident right in front of the linesman. As again, this will be in Halfpenny to take the throw.
He's been very good. Connor Halfpenny to right back. Can he provide a ball here?
Ulysses. Shut down by Blacktown.
Transition moment here. Is this the moment?
At the end, they get the foul. You can see here, yellow card given.
So both fullbacks now on yellow cards. Halfpenny, the right back. Joins Callum Richards, the left back. Both had very good games, but if we do go into extra time, 20 minutes playing with a yellow card, they've got to be very careful. Tiring legs.
3 minutes of additional time have been added, Tony. So we're into the final championship round in regulation time. No score in the grand final. And this game is seesawed.
Blacktown, of course, the club champions. They've been terrific right through the club, making premiers in their 18s and 20s. Finished third in the top team as well, the first team. So they certainly want to crown the season with a trophy, championship in the 18s, but it's not been all smooth sailing, Mount Druitt.
Osman works it across. Idahan onside. Can he work it back into the middle? It's played out the end by Blacktown.
Lovely ball from Osman. Idahan, who's really posed a threat. You can see that he is a first-team player. Great presence he has in the front third. And he's had a shot already that's tested Cunico. That was lovely. Build up again from the Rangers.
Taking their time to take this corner here, Tony. Grand final for 2019, the under-19s. The under-18s to be exact. Of course, the under-20s coming up next. And it's going to be a great game between Sutherland and Blacktown as well. This close to going to extra time as the corner taken. And at the end, couldn't find the target. Illich, and the score remains here 0-0.
I think Joe D'Amelio, interesting background from him. He was an ex-Blacktown City junior. I don't think it's a well-known fact, Nicholas, but he's the coach of Mount Druitt Town Rangers. He spent the past 12 years at either Mounties Wanderers or the Rangers, and I think he'll be very pleased with his team's performance. They've done a great job to get it this far.
So it continues here. Down this eastern side, the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Probably one last opportunity, really. At least at the end, couldn't control it. Samola's there. Samola, can he get across in? At the end, he spins around himself. And it's pushed out by Blacktown. We'll have a corner. Here's the opportunity here, Tony.
Yeah, they might have one more set piece in them. They sent Illich forward. We've seen him get on the end of a couple of balls from set pieces. Grimaldi also coming forward. Still got Yinka Sanmola in there, along with Ulese.
Osman to take the corner. Grimaldi heads it, goes wide. But the flag's up as well.
Might have been doing a bit of climbing there, Grimaldi.
And that's it. That's the 90 minutes. And we are into extra time, Tony. So fasten that seatbelt. We've got 20 minutes still left in this one. 10 minutes each way. And then we could potentially be going to penalty shootout.
Yeah, I think Blacktown's certainly happier with the second half in terms of, they started to get a couple of opportunities. Connor Rose got on the end of a couple of balls. Not quite able to execute. But I think in the end, Mount Druitt have been the team that's bossed most of this game. And they've had probably the two best chances with the number 10 in Ulese. He had a header very early on, and then he had a one-on-one moment right at the end of the game when he rounded the Blacktown City defence, and he thought he had an open goal. Blacktown were able to get back and just deny him there. But in the end, lovely work from Mount Druitt. I think they've certainly been the happier of the two sides, but at the end, it's 0-0, and so we're going to go into this extra time period. Blacktown continue to fancy themselves as a force in terms of fitness, in terms of their mental strength. And you can see John Carnivale with the assistance of the first team coach and Mark Crittenden It's a very united squad. They work hand in hand, the three coaches, Mark Crittenden, John Carnivale of the under-18s, and also Montgomery of the 20s. They work very much hand in hand, and it's a great opportunity. We can't wait for this 20 minutes.
We mentioned before, but let's remind everybody tomorrow it's a massive day again for Football New South Wales. The Festival of Football for Women continues with Apia Leichhardt taking on the Gladesville Ravens in the NPL 2 Women's Grand Final. Will Gotts is calling that, and that's at 5:15, of course. And then it's at 5:45. Nicola Posda alongside Adam Santarossa bring you the Women's 1 Grand Final between Sydney University and the Northern Tigers from Valentine Park. So it's going to be a fantastic day there. And also a reminder as well tomorrow, because it doesn't stop, the NPL 2 finals are in vogue too. In the men's with Bonnyrigg up against the Northern Tigers. So I'll be there describing the action at Marconi Stadium. And that game at 2:30. And Dave McDonald will be at Lily Holmes for the Mounties Wanderers game against the Spirit FC side. So that's the situation there for what's coming up tomorrow. So we're excited. I think everybody's excited with all the football still left to come on Football New South Wales.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's obviously a big day. Certainly in the women's 1, Sydney University have been the team. They were in the grand final last year. They lost out to the MacArthur Rams, but Alex Epakis and his team have been all conquering this year. They've won the premiership. They've won the club championship, and I think they go in as favourites against Northern Tigers. They've certainly had the edge over them. And then I guess Apia as well in the women's 2. They've been the team that's been on top right throughout the season. So I think they've had the edge over most of their opponents. But I think Gladesville Ravens certainly come into the punching chance. A couple of great grand finals, Super Sunday, and the men's 2. Yeah, that game you mentioned, the Mounties versus Spirit FC. I call it the David Perkovic derby because he was at Mounties and now he's at Spirit. So
yes.
There's a big game there, and obviously Bonnyrigg and Northern Tigers. So a big day all round for Northern Tigers, certainly making an imprint across the NPL New South Wales scene.
Looking forward to it, Tony, but we're also looking forward to what is going to happen in the next 20 minutes, 10 minutes each way. City and the Rangers. Are we heading towards penalty shootouts?
Well, based on what we've seen so far, the best chances have certainly come for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Can we find a youngster with the composure to finish? If not, looks like we might be headed for what we saw in the major semi-final. Blacktown haven't really created a lot. Their challenge in this extra time period is to try and find some combination in that front third.
Second half about to, or the extra time about to start the first half of extra time. We've seen a very good game as we are underway. Now, possession here. And Rose with an opportunity just outside the box. Can he turn it back in at the end? Shut down. And that's great work by Callum Richards. Repeating. No score in the grand final. Cross comes in. It's low. It's pushed away. Now again. Ulisi working it back.
How many times do we see a stalemate in normal time open up suddenly in the extra time period? I called the Marconi game against Sydney United in the first week, the elimination final. 0-0 after 90 minutes, and as soon as the half-time period, the extra time period started, the game exploded, and Blacktown look like they're very positive.
Well, the ball's played back by Vahos. He finds it a support he needed. And Allen's there, but it's played straight to a Blacktown player, but he couldn't hold control. As now, Vahos. And Osmond, onside, pushes the defender, has the shot again, wayward to the left.
Yeah, lovely ball from Vlahos over the top. Osmond using the body extremely well, but I got to say, Richards got back and just provided that physical buffer to put Osmond off. Osmond's such a presence there, and he couldn't quite get his shot on target in the end. Blacktown, I thought, recovered really well there because it was a lovely ball over the top from Dimos Vlahos.
No score in the grand final. We've had a minute and a half of the first half of extra time. It's 10 minutes each way, as we've mentioned during the call, as we see Grimaldi kick it out to the eastern side.
Both teams with a couple of half chances at the beginning of this extra time period. It's been a stalemate so far, but it's livened up.
It's been a great game, Tony. enjoyed the way both sides have played. Rose now has it. 25 yards from goal, but again, shut down. Great work by Vahos.
Yes.
And again, we could see Mount Druitt just trying to raid, and he's not happy with himself there in Samoa.
Yeah, he was trying to find Idahan there in transition, and he fancied Idahan's pace perhaps in that one-on-one situation against Bernie. But the execution on that ball wasn't quite on.
2.5 gone. First half of extra time. And Richards just moves it forward. I guess the question is here, Tony, what do you do if you make any changes? How do you make the change? And what sort of aspect are you looking at? Are you looking at trying to win the game in extra time, or you sort of got that mind towards the penalty shootout?
Yeah, I think there's still certainly what we've seen at the beginning of this second half period. It looks like Blacktown have been on the front foot in the first couple of minutes, and they've got an opportunity here. So I think certainly that's the... You still want to win it in normal time, but defensively, both these teams have been very solid throughout the season. Blacktown right throughout the season, Mount Druitt in the second half of the season. And I think that's your first insurance. You want to make sure that you don't make a mistake and let the opposition in, because it's been a game of very limited opportunities. And so fundamentally, that's your first focus. And I think both coaches have certainly gone down that path.
Now we see Blacktown City again with an opportunity. Foul court, Vahos giving it away.
Yeah, good technique there from Jackson Brown in that midfield and forcing the challenge from Vlahos. And it gives Blacktown another opportunity here from the set piece.
A grand final for 2019. No score. Will Gotsis and Tony Saluno up next with the Blacktown City and Sutherland under-20s grand final. The boys already warming up. Just saw Tony Saluno do the in-betweeners friends thumbs up. There's now Rose, and it's pushed off at the end. Great defence by Mount Druitt Town as again possession down the eastern side for Osmond. Osmond now cuts inside. Couldn't find a target in Samola, but it was great defensive work at the end.
Bernie.
And he's been great, hasn't he, Bernie, today? As again, they work it down the right side. It's bounced off one of the Rangers players. It's worked down the right side. McLaughlin, great work at the end. The flag is up. McLaughlin is remonstrating.
Isn't the crowd getting into this as well on that far side?
Yeah.
Crowd's been building up throughout the under-18s grand final and getting right into this one. You can hear that crowd effects coming through on the live stream. Hope you've enjoyed it. Still plenty more to come. Looks set to go to a shootout at the moment.
Well, that's the reality, I think, Tony. That is well and truly the reality. As now it is in Benas. At the end, it's played out. Benas has had a great game, as we've spoken about today, Tony. Inside the last 5 minutes of the first half of extra time. The Rangers again on the eastern side.
And he really looks to threat Sunmola. If he can get into space, he's had a great season. Former West Sydney Wanderers academy player. And he's made such an impression with the first team coach in Aidan Desmond. He's been given some opportunities during the Cups competitions. Mentioned earlier, came on in that Waratah Cup semi-final. Valentine Sports Park against Manly. Elimination final, I should say, in the Waratah Cup. But Sunmola is a key man that can unlock this game. Lisi's had a couple of great opportunities in that number 10 role. Reece Osmond continues to put himself about the focal point in the attack for the Rangers.
Not wrong, Tony. Again repeating. No score in the grand final. Osmond.
Again, an excellent touch.
Osmond again. Works it across. Elisi, well, he's pushed it wide for himself. He's going to be able to backtrack. He will. Jeez, that was a tame effort. As again, Elisi again. Vahos. Comes across. Osmond can't get to it. Great turn there by Samola. Samoa trying to find the target.
There he was. What a piece of magic that was. And Vlahos, for me, probably the man of the match. He's been terrific.
Osman again. Osman dancing and weaving, but at the end, great work by Duffy.
Oh, lovely composure there, just to sit Osman down.
It's been a great game, Tony, and again we are seeing both sides with Rose heading it down. Still a chance here as it goes towards this left-hand channel. And again, Bernie looking to cross it in. Bernie falls over, and the foul's given.
It's very interesting. I mean, Tyron Burney, he's been very conservative at left back. He's had the job on a couple of players, Howarth, Pelchal, now Idahan. We haven't seen him get forward too often, and there he was driving forward and winning a free kick. He stayed down with the cramps. Maybe that's why we haven't seen him venture forward too much, but nice bit of skill there to win that free kick, and it gives Blacktown a great opportunity on 98 minutes from the set piece.
Hope you're enjoying it wherever you may be. As we're about to see this set piece to be taken. Up next, the grand final between Sutherland and Blacktown City. Now Blacktown City working it towards the 6-yard box, but again pushed away. Still alive here. Here's the crack at the end. It goes over the bar there by Bradley Tapp.
Yeah, not quite able to profit there, but good work again just to pick up that loose ball on the edge of the 18-yard box. And that was positive from Bernie, but he's just limping away the left back for Blacktown. Let's see if he can carry on. Lots of tired bodies out there. We always expect tight affairs in grand finals. Often that's what we see. Very little separating the two sides.
Here's an opportunity once again here for the Rangers, but shut down straight away. Now it's Richards. Callum Richards cramping here, and this is not good.
Yeah, there's lots of tired bodies. Players taking the opportunity to go down and have a stretch here. We approach the halfway point of extra time. There's that beard that we spoke about earlier. Shannon Codd loves to get him on the field there. Give him a chance to plug that well-manicured beard of his.
The fans starting to make their way in as the day progresses. What a great ground it is, Bankwest Stadium.
Yeah, I think, you know, the terrace, you're right on top of the action, and so that's one of the beauties. Obviously, you know, this will be the home of the A-League side, the West Sydney Wanderers, and, you know, the fans can't wait to come back here. They've been on ovals for the last couple of years, and, you know, we've called some of that action in previous A-League editions, and, you know, you're so far away from the action. Here you're right on top of it, and it's just fantastic. No,
it's been terrific. We're going to see one more change here for the Rangers too, because he is down and he's not going to get back onto the field in a fit sense, so he's over.
Half-time.
And we've got half-time as well in this contest, in the half-time of extra time. But I would say there's going to be a substitution here straight away.
Lots of tired bodies. Of course, in extra time, you do get the opportunity for an extra substitution.
Yep.
So that's one of the new rules that was introduced by FIFA at the beginning of the year. And so, you know, during the World Cup last time around. And so it entered the NPL New South Wales scene at the beginning of this season. So you're allowed 3 substitutes in 90. You get an additional substitute, so a maximum of 4 if you go to extra time. And I think both coaches would be pretty wise to use it. There's a lot of tired bodies out there.
Look, I know there's 10 minutes left in play, but I guess now the question has to be asked, who do you start looking at that you might have to call on for the penalty shootout?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge. I think obviously it looks like Mount Druitt Town Rangers have still a lot of their front third players on. The likes of Idahan, Sunmola, Reese Osman. Yeah, I'm sure they've been practicing it as part of their...
You have to.
Yeah, and, you know, I think I asked the coaches in the build-up to this game, and they played it down a little bit. They said they didn't really want to go to extra time. They didn't really want to go to penalties, but you've got to practice that in the build-up to the grand final, and so I'm sure they'll have their list, and maybe Callum Richards, who looks like he is going to hobble off here. He's had a terrific game at left back, but it will be a fresh man, and it will be Daniel Goney, that player we mentioned, who has been in central defence. He's been suspended after that yellow card or red card against Apia.
Yep.
And he's going to come on here, Goney. And it looks like he might come straight on to left back. So he's a defender. He'll certainly give him plenty of solidity in these remaining 10 minutes. Callum Richards.
Well, Tony, we've waited for this. It continues. The last 10 minutes of extra time and the potential for a penalty shootout. So now we can see Goney straight into the action.
Yeah, another substitute's come on also for Blacktown. And Christian Chirino. He's on the right side. Here he is.
And again, Blacktown City on the right channel. In the middle. Can't find here the support. Is now hooted forward here towards Osmond. Osmond. It's inside the box, but again, it will be pushed away. Great work there by Ben Berry.
Yeah, so it looks like there's been a bit of a change. So Connor Rose is the player who's been replaced, the striker, Connor Rose. So that's meant that Binash has moved into that number 9 role, the central striker. And Chirino's come on that right side of the attack.
Osmond. Idahan. And again, great work by Blacktown to try to win the ball. They get the foul as well. This is just interesting, Tony, because you can see Blacktown, they're sitting back and they're waiting the strike, but I guess now they've got to try to play the high press here.
Yeah, so let's see how this second half of extra time unfolds. I think Mount Druitt weathered that early pressure from Blacktown at the start of extra time. Felt like Blacktown were on the team on the front foot. But Mount Druitt, as they have right throughout this game, right throughout the season, they've shown amazing spirit and they've got a real fierce determination. And their physicality's really tested Blacktown in this big occasion.
Game continues here with Blacktown with possession on halfway. This is McLaughlin. McLaughlin now, and it's cleared away by Halfpenny.
Yeah, great opportunity again, but the final execution from Blacktown's not quite been on song.
And now again, we see Samola trying to find Ulysses, but he couldn't find the target. Ball play back to Grimaldi. Grimaldi again, up the line. Shut down by Duffy. Now in the middle. This is Tap. And again, they're utilising the left-hand channel. Bildhusen. Shut down.
Great
and again, here come the Rangers. Down the right side, Halfpenny. Idahan was beaten. And at the end, holding fort but losing control at the end was in Tap. And they'll get the ball again, Blacktown.
He's got a great motor, this Connor Halfpenny. Shown some great feet on that right side of the defence. He's probably been a bit more conservative. First hour, I thought his raids down the right, really great avenue, but he's been happy to sit. He's got some defensive work here.
McLaughlin again. Wildhusen falling over but getting back up and trying to control. There was Bernie. Couldn't. Here's the effort again, but it's saved by Allen. No score in the grand final. 103 minutes have gone. As the ball goes up, it's headed down. And the foul's been given towards the Rangers.
You can see these two sides are very disciplined. That's been the defensive structure, which has certainly been the hallmark for Blacktown and Mount Druitt. Second half of the season's got better and better. But there's some key moments here. This is crunch time, the mentality of these largely 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-olds. So it's going to be tested here in the remaining minutes.
Vahos takes the set piece towards the 6-yard box. It's pushed up, comes down again. And now we see Grimaldi, another great tackle.
Yeah, as soon as there's a loose ball there, him and Illich just exchanging high fives there. They're relishing this, the two central defenders, enjoying their afternoon at Bank West in the grand final.
Well, after this, We don't know what time it will be, but it will be Tony Saluno and Will Gotsis for the afternoon game in the under-20s grand final between Sutherland and Blacktown City, but we don't know when that will be because we've still got this game to go. Who knows how long penalty shootouts will be if we get the penalties. As Goney now lets the ball go past the goal line for a goal kick.
Yeah, the fresh legs there, I think, certainly adds some experience on the left side of the defence. And it's increasingly looking with 5 minutes remaining. Those chances to Ulez there, probably the best two early on in the game, denied by Cunico, and then late on had a great opening, created a great chance. Open goal, we thought, but Blacktown were able to recover and put the pressure on.
Good Hewson works it in. Still alive for Blacktown. Ball across. And now we see Chirino, and at the end it's pushed out.
Might have been an opportunity there for Jackson Brown just to hit that first time, but he wanted to tee up Chirino. The opportunity's gone begging. Mount Druitt able to scramble.
Duffy into the box. It's headed down. Again, here's an opportunity. Again, it's pushed away. Vahos.
Yeah, Goney's done a couple of good things defensively already. He's come on, left back, and he's made a couple of important contributions.
Grand final continues as it bounces towards the goal line. And there will be a corner. So Blacktown will have another opportunity. It's coming here. As now, it will be M. McLaughlin who takes the corner. It's hit up by Vahos. Still a chance. Again, it goes back to Tap. Tap inside the box. Tap has a shot. It goes over the bar again. Well, just couldn't do it.
Yeah, not a bad opportunity at all. Good work there from the holding midfielder, Brad Tap, just to get the space to get that shot on. He just couldn't get it on target, get it under the bar. Blacktown have waited and waited, and that would have really been a smash and grab in 107 minutes.
Well, Tony, it still keeps on giving. Grand Final Day 2019. Football New South Wales Network. And how good has it been today? So far in the 18s, it's no score. Don't forget 20s follow suit with Blacktown and Sutherland, and then it's Sydney United RPO in the men's one grand final. Here's an opportunity now, but the flag goes up. But Hewson was offside.
Blacktown thought that was play on, but the assistant referee on the near side was right on the spot. And he's made a bit of an impact, the substitute on this right-hand side, the youngster, Christian Chirino. And he thought he'd played Veldehuizen in there.
Brody Merchant, of course, the linesman on this side of the ground. As again, Garrett.
Can Mount Druitt create something?
And now we see Samola at the end. Blacktown City. Still another opportunity, and again, it's played out.
I think Blacktown will certainly be happy with this second half of extra time. Managed to control Mount Druitt Town Rangers. They've posed a couple of moments in transition. Can they create something? Going to see the final substitution. It might be the youngster for Blacktown. This is from the under-16s, Sebastian Hernandez. See the player? Or is it going to be Corey Smith?
Corey Smith, it looks like, here for Blacktown City.
So it looks like he's a right back or left back, so maybe some fresh legs. Maybe he's a penalty taker.
Well, here's a chance. Samola. Wide. There's nobody there with Nkui. And at the end is Blacktown City again with possession. It's turned over. Vahos. And again, couldn't find a target because the man was on the deck.
Yeah, Sunmola on that far side. He's down for cramps, and Vlahos perhaps had the opportunity to have a strike there. All these players, Sunmola's just gone down with cramps, and now Smith is going to come on. Corey Smith can play at right back and also left back, and I suggest that he might be a penalty taker.
Well, that might goes off.
So he came on earlier, so maybe they've just brought on some fresh legs because of that opportunity to take a penalty. We'll certainly watch that in the shootout if we get that far.
Well,
looks likely.
It looks likely, Tony. Looks like we're going to a penalty shootout. As we've still got him on the deck here. This does not look good.
Just missed gone to the left side of the attack, so it's a like-for-like swap.
Well,
with Veldhuizen, and Sunmola stays down at the moment. And that's going to take us right into additional time in extra time.
Well, looks like we are heading towards penalty shootout, Tony Tanous.
And obviously Blacktown have the edge over Mount Druitt Town Rangers in the major semi-final. We've just seen another change. Nonso Chukwueke has come on for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers, the left-sided attacker. Chukwueke,
of course, making his way on.
Maybe he's going to take a penalty as well, so let's keep an eye on that.
That's probably the situation here, Tony.
Bringing on.
But also Samola, he off the field after that injury, which is a shame. He's had a big game, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a terrific grand final. He's one we'll certainly keep an eye out on. And, he's got a big future, Yinka Sunmola. Chukwueke's gone straight over to take this one.
Here's the opportunity now.
Is this the moment?
Corner taken. It's low, it's headed away. Great work there by Monash. As now it's into the box again. The header! And it's wide! Well, Grimaldi thought he had it and just went to the outer side of the post.
Yeah, he's been a powerhouse in the air, Grimaldi. The flag in the end has gone up. And the referee's blown for a free kick, but Reece Osman there put it into a dangerous area. And Grimaldi, I wonder if he'll step up. He's been a mountain right throughout this game. And that's the end of it.
And that is it. We are into penalty shootout, Tony.
Yeah.
After 110 minutes, it hasn't been decided.
And just as we've seen right throughout this season, the battle between these two sides, while it hasn't been goal scoring today, it's been tight right throughout. Blacktown still, at the end of the season, Mount Druitt Town Rangers can say that Blacktown were not able to beat them in normal time. And they've gone to extra time in the major semi-final. They've ended up at penalties. And it's the same story here. I think on the balance, Joe D'Amelio will probably be the happier of the two in terms of performance. But I think John Carnival will be happy that his team's been able to get to the penalty shootout. And it's going to be fascinating now. The two keepers come into the equation, Brendan Allen and Zane Cunico. Let's see how this one plays out.
Well, here we go. We're seeing now the toss to be done. Both McLaughlin and Illich are there.
They're going to determine which side the penalties will be taken on. We asked before the game, of course. And it goes down to a toss these days, so the referees...
So they do two tosses, one to decide who goes first and the other on what side they go on.
So let's see how this one's played out. I think Cunico's made a couple of good saves. Allen's been rather redundant. I don't think Blacktown have tested him too often this afternoon. Cunico, on the other hand, had to produce a couple of great saves. One early on in particular. Looks like all the fans are running over to the southern side. So that would suggest that an announcement's been made that the penalties are going to be on the southern side.
Yep.
Right of your camera.
It's just been pointed by Joel Crawford.
Watch the fans scamper across. One of the real features this season, the youngsters from Mount Druitt Town Rangers on penalty shootouts against Manly in the FFA Cup. They've been putting the opposition keeper off.
Yep.
And they're going to go and try and do the same
What
here.
about the kids over there on the Eastern touchline? They're running across. Look at them go. Look at them go.
It's a mad sprint. It's a mad sprint.
Lucky it's not the old Parramatta Stadium. Remember there used to be barricades on each side that you couldn't run across?
Yeah, that was quite annoying, actually.
It was. It was annoying.
But this is fantastic. I think certainly they want to cheer on their team. They've certainly got the taller of the two keepers. Brendan Allen is quite an imposing figure. Cunico's quite short. I'm sure the referees will be right alert to making sure that the keepers don't jump off their line. Of course, that's a rule that's been around forever, but the enforcement of that rule has not always been applied.
Well, Tony, it's come down to this.
Spare a thought for Kai McLaughlin. He's on the bench in the under-20s. He's had a full 110 minutes here, the Blacktown City skipper, and he's on the bench in the 20s. I wonder if he still has some work to do here in the penalty shootout. It all comes down to this, Nicholas. It's been an amazing season in the under-18s. Blacktown City winning it by 12 points. The premiership.
Yep. Well, this is it. Grimaldi steps up first for Mount Druitt Town.
What a colossal game from the central defender. And he gets the opportunity. He's been a real leader out there, Grimaldi. And he is the player who steps up first.
So Kuniko against Grimaldi. Grimaldi. Where will he go here as he just gets a bit of the rubbish off the studs in the meantime? Grimaldi up against Kuniko. Grimaldi moves in and slots it over to Barr. So he misses the opportunity. Again.
He's had a terrific game, which is real unfortunate. The central defender, a real unfortunate way to end the game for him. There's still life, of course, for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. But the perfect start here for Blacktown if they can convert this. Great sportsmanship there. Grimaldi and Kai McLaughlin wishing each other luck there. The skipper, as I mentioned, 110 minutes. He's on the bench in the under-20s. And now he's got the opportunity to put Blacktown ahead.
So it will be a McLaughlin here against here Allen. 0 over score. Haven't even had a penalty in the back of the net yet. Now, McLaughlin moves in and gets it in.
Oh, unlucky Allen there. I thought he got a glove to that. And the skipper gives Blacktown the lead. And now he goes over to give Kuniko a bit of encouragement. So Blacktown, the premiers, have the lead. The nerves.
So now making his way up, Valhos.
Yeah, for me, him and Grimaldi, probably the best for the Rangers. Central defensive midfielder. I thought he's been fantastic. Dimos Vlahos. And he's got the opportunity now to draw the Mount Druitt Town Rangers level.
So Valhos makes his way to position.
He's shown some good technique with his distribution this afternoon.
So to make sure Mount Druitt Town stay in this penalty shootout, needs to get this really. Moves in and it's saved! Well, only just because... Well, Kuniko, he made the save, but it bounced off his foot, nearly went into the bar, but at the end, it goes to the outer side. And it's now 1-0 in favour of Blacktown City.
Yeah, Kuniko pulls off the save. Lahos and Grimaldi, they've had outstanding games. How often do you see it, though? Players who really produce it during the game, they step up and they can't quite convert. The pressure's on. Kuniko showed that he can certainly stop a shot during regulation time. And he might be the shorter of the two keepers, but he's produced the goods in the early part of this penalty shootout.
So now, making his way up with an opportunity to get this will be in Torino. Torino up against Allen.
He's done well off the bench. Short run up.
Torino up against Allen. Moves in, slots it home. It's 2-0. They're one step ahead. They're one step closer.
Key moment now. Mount Druitt Town Rangers must score. They've missed their first two.
Interesting stat coming through, Tony, as well. If Blacktown win this game, they'll be the first team to do the league and grand final double for the first time in 15 years.
Yeah, we spoke about that during the call. It's certainly been an issue, you know, right across the NPL scene. It's very not an easy thing to do, the Premiership Championship double. And Idaho's here. He's kissed the ball, and he wants to see it hit the back of the net here. Kuniko's just making him think about it. Bit of mind games from the keeper.
Could well be the last opportunity here, Tony. Idaho, they're down 2-0. Strikes it and gets it. It's 2-1.
Yeah, must-score situation there, and he did extremely well. And that keeps Mount Druitt Town Rangers in it. If they ever needed to produce a save, now's about the time. Brendan Allen. So 2-1 it is to Blacktown City. The chance to make it 3-1 with their third kick.
So Jackson Brown makes his way.
He's been very good. He's shown himself to be a very technical player in the centre of that midfield. Caleb Jackson Brown.
So here's the opportunity again here to make it 3-1. And again, be on the front foot. Important save for Allen, no question about it. Moves in, and he gets it. Great strike there by Jackson Brown. And now it's 3-1, so it is...
Must score here.
Must score, as you say, Tony. And the chance... Kuniko knows he has to make the save.
Illich, it is the skipper who's going to step up, the central defender. And terrific alongside Grimaldi.
So Illich up against Kuniko. What a game it's been. As now Illich against Kuniko. 3-1. Illich moves in and he gets it. So now it's 3-2.
What a penalty that was under extreme pressure. The skipper steps up, dispatches it into the corner. A lovely penalty. And it keeps Mount Druitt Town Rangers alive. Again, it's great sportsmanship, maybe a bit of banter between him and the Blacktown and his keeper. Just encouraging him, Brendan Allen. 3-2 it is.
So Blacktown will clinch it here. Has to get it, though, obviously, to make sure they clinch it.
Tyreen Burney's the player who's going to step up. He was cramping a little bit earlier in the extra time period, the left back.
Yep.
And it's his moment. Can he dispatch it?
So Burney. He'll be up against Allen, Allen just making sure the ball's in the right place too. As now.
Making him think about it.
This is it. Has to make the save, Allen. Pressure riding on him. As now Burney moves in and gets it. And that's it. It's game, set, champions for Blacktown City. They have won the Under-18's grand final in penalty shootout, 4-2. Tony Tanous. The heartbreak for the Mount Druitt Town Rangers.
Yeah, they've really produced a terrific performance here. Have the Mount Druitt Town Rangers fresh up from the NPL 2 in the post-season. It's their first season in the top flight, and they really pushed Blacktown, but Blacktown have been able to produce the Premiership Championship double. It's a pressured situation. We don't see it completed too often. We saw Wollongong in the men's first bow out in the finals. It's a situation that's very difficult to complete. They've been on the back foot. They've been in defensive mode for much of this game. Mount Druitt Town Rangers on the front foot. But in the end, Blacktown get the job done as they did in the major semi-final, and they win. They've been the best team throughout the season. They've won the competition by 12 points, and you can't begrudge them the double, the Premiership Championship double. They've completed it here. John Carnival and his team.
What a win. What a win for Blacktown City. It went the distance. As you expected, both sides, and again, another penalty shootout, and that really will hurt the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. So 4-2, the first grand final has been won in the favour of Blacktown City. Up next, the 20s, Sutherland up against Blacktown City. Tony Saluno alongside Will Gotsis to describe all the action here on Football New South Wales Network on this Saturday afternoon at Bankwest Stadium. A break and back with more.